due to a sinkhole, so you might want to avoid that area if you can. This traffic report was brought to you by Geico Careers. Geico in Seattle is expanding. They need great people like you to join their team if you are looking for endless growth opportunities and the ability to make an impact every day. Then Geico is the career for you. Apply today, geico.jobs/Seattle. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
This is Tori with your weather report brought to you by Sherry's Restaurants. You're looking at mostly cloudy skies this morning. There's a chance of scattered showers, which will get heavier into the afternoon. Highs in the low 50s, and it's currently 50 in downtown Seattle. How many pancakes can you eat? Introducing Sherry's Endless Pancakes. Get all the fluffy buttermilk pancakes you like for just $6.99. Upgrade to a combo with eggs, bacon, or sausage, hash browns, and Sherry's Endless Pancakes for just $9.99. Visit Sherry's.com for a location near you. That was your weather. I'm Tori on 102.5 KZOK.
Failure is not an option. Awesome. It is 5:45. I'm Danny Bonaducci. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't say this to you often, but you look adorable.
Well, thank you.
Your little pullover thing. You look like a schoolgirl. I guess you look like a schoolgirl every now and again. You have some schoolgirl outfits.
A couple.
That got a little weird.
It did?
Yeah, you have some schoolgirl outfits.
Well, it would have been weirder had she said, "What the hell do you mean?"
Yeah.
That would have been weird when she goes, "Oh no, I have a couple." That gets me right off the.
She's weird right there with you.
Paul, you
sweater
also have a
over
couple
the
schoolgirl outfits.
I do.
as
Yeah, I
understand
didn't wear
it.
one today, but maybe tomorrow.
Good morning, kids.
How adorable do I look?
You are hot, Mr. Man.
Ooh, thank you.
I thought, we had a little fight in here. Not a fight, but we had a little. There were good and plenties on my desk this morning when I got here. We were
Yeah.
talking about good and plenties, and I said I like them. Everybody else turned on me like vicious snakes.
Only because they're terrible.
They're not terrible. They're yummy and they're wonderful. They're two kinds of candy.
That's the song you wanted to hear yesterday.
Yeah, notice it was the song I wanted to hear
Yesterday.
But anyway, better late than never, my brother. So I thought because Paul's here before everybody, that they're from Paul, and
Yeah.
then they weren't from Paul, so I just assumed you, and they weren't from you, and then I assumed Derek, and they weren't from Derek. They're from Tori, brought me candy.
Oh, it's nice of her.
She also has schoolgirl outfits.
I do.
I figured as much, darling.
Tori's not on the good and plenty train, though, right?
No.
Didn't you say they're gross?
They're disgusting, but it's funny because there was only one box left. So
Yeah.
Danny was saying that, they're sold out.
Yeah,
maybe.
they're popular. That's what it is. Go to a record store and you can't find the Beatles. Why? People like the Beatles.
Yeah.
Good and Bunnies, the candy. Wait, the Beatles of candy.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
You think
Certainly the
maybe there
Ringo.
was only one left because they don't restock it?
No, because the box was empty. The box was big. I asked all these questions.
I think M&M's are the Beatles of candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I they're such a nothing little snack, though. I like them. They're chocolate covered candy. I love them all day.
And what's
But
the
I don't go,
Beatles?
oh my God, M&M's. You know what? And they're a
Hershey bar?
sponsor, so I'm not sucking up to a sponsor, but I would. Sherry's berries are candy. oh my
yeah.
God, the white shot, all this stuff. So it's an eye of the beholder. What is candy? So I said this morning, failure is not an option, and that's just a stupid thing people say. Failure is not an option. You know what they used to say when MMA first started was tap out is not an option. And they had T-shirts made.
I thought that's right there in the rules.
It's a full-on option.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. Unless you are knocked out, you're doing it.
Right.
Surrender is not an option. Well, wait till they start dipping your friends in the lawn shredder. You go, oh, hey, wait, I give up. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Although, one of my favorite stories is Spartacus. And those guys didn't surrender. They got 1,500 men crucified on the road because they wouldn't say, all they'd do is say sorry.
Yeah.
Man, I'd say sorry so fast. The other one, and I watched this in a movie the other day, my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, because he tells nice stories about people losing their feet. My dad would tell me about these villages in China when the Christians first came over to introduce Christ and Christianity, and they didn't want it. And they said, you can't do it, you can't have, there better be no Christians in this village. So they bring out a picture of Christ and or the Bible, put on the ground, and line up the whole village and say, just walk over it and everything's groovy. Matter of fact, we'll give you some, rice or whatever we pay you off in these days. And people wouldn't do it, and they'd hack off their feet. Like, if the lady in front of me got her feet hacked off, I'd say, oh, yeah, I never believe. I'm a Buddhist. What do I have to do? I'm a Wiccan. Where do I go from here? So yesterday, here's just a failure at everything I touched or was a part of. We're getting a new stove, Viking, pricey to the
Yeah.
point of, not. I've said fight a couple times this morning when I don't mean it, but unpleasantness. I had to be sold on a Viking that looks just like a Kenmore or whatever.
Between you and your wife, you mean?
Yeah. No, certainly not between me and Viking. I'd kill a Viking. But then I'd give him a Viking funeral because I'm just that cool. But no, it just seemed a lot of money. But she said, when we sell the house in this neighborhood, all the good houses in this neighborhood have Vikings, and all the bad houses in this neighborhood are going to be bulldozed, which they do. 2 houses in the line of sight of my house right now have been bulldozed already.
Wow.
She said, yeah, we'll do way better off if we need to sell. And I always think about selling my house. I shouldn't. Luckily, I could tell you this. I'll be here for a minimum of 3 more years, not selling my house anytime soon. My stove works. This is a lot what my conversation sounded like yesterday. So she wins. All right. So they say, hey, it's free dishwasher day or something like that. But it's a free other appliance at Viking. I don't even know they did sales because I've had stuff in other houses. I don't know, they're like snobby, butt-faced appliance people.
Yeah.
And they're like the thing. I don't even know. Is there something snottier than Viking?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be the top of the line for snotty appliances.
Yeah, until you get to like commercial, and even Viking's pretty big there.
Yeah.
I think that Viking's the big one.
So I acquiesced and said, yeah, we'll get that money back when we sell it. Go ahead and spend this bunch of dough. And she goes online or on the phone or whatever the hell she does. And they say it's buy that thing, get another appliance free. And I think it was like 10 different choices, not a refrigerator. So she went for a new dishwasher, which is totally cool.
Nice.
So there are thousands of dollars to be delivered, but
It costs $1,000 to be delivered.
no, they are thousands of dollars. That's the end of that sentence. There was a comma or period. I don't know, but they're a lot of money. And I think this is a pretty damn good deal. It's $80 for installation.
Whoa.
What?
So that's not free?
See that? I thought kind of free compared
Yeah.
to the price of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have thought several hundred 2,000s to be.
You'd have been
installed.
right, Mr. Man. So they say they deliver them. And the one thing I do that I feel that I was a winner at, or I didn't fail completely at, is these guys, they have in these weird harnesses to take. I have about 15 steps that go up to my kitchen.
Yeah.
And they're grunting and they're groaning. One guy's even staring at me, and I didn't even say the words, "Can I help?" Now, if I'd have said them, I wouldn't have meant them, and I think I'd have known that it said no. There was no room for me to help with
Right.
a stove going up 15 stairs. But I feel that it was a mature decision for me not to go, hey, can I lend a hand? I think that was very grown up of me not to do that.
Yeah, that was good.
So they put them down in the dining room, and they say, can you sign right here? And I said, I don't even understand this stuff. Please go see my wife. And it says Amy Bondici right there on the doohickey. And so they go and they want her to sign out. And she says, well, aren't you going to install them? They said, oh, no, we're delivery guys. We don't install them. And they said, this is when I said, no, we paid another $80 to have them installed. And the guy says, and I quote,
I think he's right about that.
but I mean, it's a real thing. They said it to her. It's on the receipt she has, or on the note she has on her computer. It exists, so she's not a crazy person. Maybe a misunderstanding. I don't know what it was. He's got a friend that does it, and even a friend that does it will be $550
Holy smokes.
to have these things installed. Yeah. And then they just split. Plus, I tipped them because I think something's going to seriously arrive. They didn't do it. In fact, they didn't do much. They drove from one place to another with a stove in their
And I'm
truck.
gonna guess it was heavy.
Then carried it up 15 stairs. Although I got to tell you, they had these straps that made it look well. Everything looked hard, but I thought they were milking it a little bit, to be honest with you. Because if I'm lifting something really heavy and I'm coming up the stairs in somebody else's house, I'm going or something like that, and they're going these guys want a tip, which I gave them. So now there's a brand new stove. If that's what's in the box, I don't even know for sure. It could be
you
wrong.
Take it out of the box.
Yeah, I'm going to take it out of the box. What in the box, Jay? What's in the box? I'm not doing it. So I have what appears to be a dishwasher and a stove in a box, and they're not. And I don't know, someday in like a week or so, some guy, and that's, I think, his actual company name, Some Guy Installations, is going to come over and put these things in. So, it was a lot of money, a little tension between me and the wife, and I didn't like it, and I was a big failure. And my mom calls up, and she wants to discuss stoves and things. I'm thinking, that's cool, something to really talk about. My 93-year-old mom, this is great. What does a 93-year-old mom want to do? She wants to Skype because she knows how.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, I'll Skype with you. It'll be great. And I prefer, I've only done it once or twice in my whole life, Skyped successfully. But I said, okay, I think I like it better than just talking to you on the phone because she's kind of, she's not hearing all that well anymore. She's got a lot of new dental work going on. That also cost Mr. Bondici a fair amount of dough. But what are you going to do? Say no to a 93-year-old lady with no chompers? So she is calling me up, and I can hear her saying, I don't see you. And I'm assuming it's her fault. Turns out, my fault. And now I can't get a stove out of a box. I can't get a dishwasher out of a box. And now I can't Skype, and a 93-year-old woman totally knows how to Skype. And I've got to say this to you. Failure, apparently, is always an option.
Police are searching for a gunman after a 16-year-old boy was shot in Seattle's South Park neighborhood last night. Officers were called to the scene near 14th Avenue South and South Trenton Street just before 7 p.m. They'd received reports of shots fired. Seattle Fire says the teen was taken to Harborview in critical condition, life-threatening gunshot to the head. Police brought in a K-9 team. They were unable to locate a suspect, and we are expecting an update from police today.
Yikes.
And detectives are looking for witnesses to a diamond heist on I-5, where two men reportedly caused a car to stop, broke out the car's windows, and stole a bag of diamonds worth almost $500,000.
Kind of neat, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry anybody lost anything. I hope nobody heard all the things I have to say to be a responsible broadcaster, and other things to be, a fellow man on this planet. The guy lost his stuff. I'd be furious. I hope he's not hurt. All that. But they did. It's usually what they do with that situation is an insurance scam. They cause an accident, and then they say they're hurt, and they get, it's just a standard scam that happens. But this kind of fascinating. Really, it's not as James Bondian, but you know what I like better about it? About the diamond heists in Antwerp. I
Yeah.
like that I could probably do this. Me and Paul and maybe Derek could probably pull this off. Okay, you swerve and hit the guy, then I'm going to rear end him.
Yeah,
he's going
box
to pull
him in.
over and demand to see my driver's license. Then we'll grab his sack of diamonds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the victim said he was driving in the Seattle and Bellevue area to jewelers who are his clients. He was on his way to see a client when he exited at 5:20, and a dark sedan made a sudden lane change, slammed on the brakes, causing him to slam on his brakes. A second vehicle then intentionally struck the victim from behind. The two men wearing bandanas approached the victim's car, broke out the front windows, hit the victim, and then grabbed the bag of diamonds. Sorry, the sack of diamonds.
Right.
Yeah.
The victim's phone was also stolen along with his key fob. Later, they discovered his phone. They were able to track it, and it was just like in the grass.
So they just
in the
took his
brush.
phone so he couldn't call 911.
Right.
Not for, okay. What about his key fob? Oh,
So
to
he
the
could-
car.
So he can't drive away.
Man, that's so quickly. I'm used to hearing him. They took the keys. They took his fob.
Right.
Detectives are asking any witnesses or anyone with information to contact police.
All right, so who did it?
I think somebody has been casing the jeweler and knows when the deliveries are.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, because I don't know where the guy is from, because my first thing would be it's one of his employees for sure. Although
inside
they
job.
say, yeah, inside job. Well, it's an inside job, just depending on where we're going inside. It's either one of his employees or one of the employees of the diamond stores he was dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody knew that was happening.
Well, when you guys do your heist, all right, the three boys
What are we
here,
stealing? Are we stealing
You're
diamonds?
stealing a sack of diamonds.
Yeah.
Then what? What are you guys going to know what to do with
We're
a
going
bunch
to
of
steal a
diamonds?
sack and take his jewels.
We got to fence it, but you fence it out of state, right?
Diamonds are a fantastic fence too. They're like
Yeah.
people and I know all this from because I watch movies. That you can take them and they're like the Bitcoin, if you will, of heist stuff because you can just sell them anywhere. You can pawn them, and you usually can't trace them. But now a lot of diamonds have serial numbers
Yeah, they do.
in them.
Yeah.
That's what are you wrecking my time, man.
Yeah, so I just want to see the three of you guys like go across the state line. You're going to go to like Nevada or Idaho and
No, you got to go
fence
to the
your diamonds?
opposite coast. It's
Oh,
always
okay.
usually it's an East Coast crime and you go West Coast for the fence, but we can go the other way.
Oh, I know Nebraska.
You sound like
They'd
a
never
thug,
suspect
Paul.
us to go to Nebraska. Would you
True.
go to Nebraska if you didn't have to go to Nebraska?
No, I wouldn't
No,
go to
me
Nebraska if
either.
I didn't
So
have
let's
to
go to Nebraska. Fence them there.
All right.
Can we wear president's masks when we do it? I call Jimmy Carter.
Okay, but I understand where you're going for. But that's what is that all about the Benjamins?
I think so.
I say nay. We're gonna go. Oh, and you know what? Ripping off somebody's robbery, we can certainly rip off the movie. Yes. if
Also,
we can wear presidents.
Point Break too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Both
rip
versions?
off Point Break. No, I did
Patrick
say Point Break
Swayze.
too, but I meant Point Break also.
Oh,
Yeah, the original, the real Point Break.
The real
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
An Alaska Airlines flight from Anchorage to Seattle had to be diverted back to Anchorage early yesterday. Guess somebody decided to take all their clothes off. Airport police said they had been called to the scene after the flight took off. Somebody took off all their clothes. And then they decided it was probably better for them to turn around and deal with it because you don't really know what that individual is going to do.
Right.
He took off all his clothes, went into the bathroom, and then they decided, let's just turn this plane around.
I think it started as a dare.
Yeah.
I think so. How crazy can we get? And somebody looked at him and said, "Okay, man, show me your nuts." And he totally misunderstood. He said, "I meant crazy." Is what happened. Too late. Can't you restrain a naked guy?
He's already in the bathroom. Why can't you just
Well,
bar
lock
the door?
Yeah.
Put the drink cart in between the two bathroom doors, and you're set. You can't open it up.
I've
then.
been sober now almost 7 years. My first thought was, no, don't busy up the alcohol.
Investigators are searching for a serial shooter responsible for 2 murders and 4 shootings in the past 9 days in Nevada.
See, I want to say, I hope he didn't kill Captain Crunch because he's a serial shooter.
Oh.
But then there's dead people, so you probably
Right.
shouldn't say it. The only way to say it is with an explanation that you didn't mean to be such an ass, and I
Right.
apologize.
Authorities believe the serial shooter
Well,
is
not said.
Thank you, sir. You are not welcome.
They believe the serial shooter is responsible for murdering 2 homeless people near downtown Las Vegas last week. They do have surveillance video that is capturing one of these murders. They
Oh,
said,
my God. It's on videotape?
yeah. And I don't even want to describe it. It's just a terrible, terrible murder.
More terrible than just Paul's bugging me and I shoot him in the head. That's a murder. This is like cut your fingers
Execution
off?
style.
Oh, man. What's going on? Who's that mad at a homeless guy?
Well, they are saying it's several and that it does appear it's all targeted against the homeless.
Yeah.
So somebody is very mad at the homeless.
We
in
were
Las
talking
Vegas.
about people get real riled up about it. Remember when people were setting people on fire?
Yeah.
It's
Awful.
crazy. It's all crazy.
President Donald Trump's eldest son is not mincing words about critics of his father. Donald Trump Jr. told the Daily Caller, he was asked by the interviewer named Ginny Thomas. The interviewer asked about people saying that he is a hater, that he's a racist. And here, Donald Trump Jr. has some interesting things to say about it.
It's been terrible to watch because I know him. I've seen him my whole life. I've seen the things he's done. You know, it's amazing. All the rappers, all the this, all his African-American friends, from Jesse Jackson to Al Sharpton. You know, I have pictures with them.
Does he sound like that or is he crying?
He sounds super nasally. I
It
didn't
sounds
know he
weird.
sounded all-
By the way, much like Chinese food in China is called food, Donald Trump haters, wouldn't they be called people? It's weird. It must be where we live. And we've gotten calls from people that seem to like him, but I personally don't know anybody that's happy about him. Not in a personal
Right,
sense.
but I think
I
you're-
heard my brother-in-law might have voted for him.
I think you're kind of burying the lead in this story, though. But Derek, play it one more time.
It's been terrible to watch because I know him. I've seen him my whole life. I've seen the things he's done. You know, it's amazing. All the rappers, all the this, all his African-American friends,
rappers.
from Jesse Jackson to Al Sharpton. You know, I have pictures with them.
He can't be racist because he's done photo ops with African Americans.
Is that what he's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, that's what I heard the first time.
There, yeah.
That seems, but that's what these guys do, man. They say just outlandish crap.
It's crazy.
Donald Trump's eldest son also had some talk about Donald Trump's health and comparing him to Obama.
You know, no one questioned Obama about his smoking, about the this, about whatever it may be, which has as much contributing, is as much a contributing factor to heart disease and these sort of things. But why? It wasn't because he's a tall, skinny guy with no muscle mass? Like, that's also not so healthy.
I didn't know where the hell he was going, and then he went to Crazyville.
I'm pretty sure being tall and skinny is more healthy than poor diet and no
Yeah,
exercise.
I would agree with you completely. Although, in a down and out street fight, there is some advantage to being a lunatic, I think.
Yeah.
I think Donald Trump would bite and do all sorts of terrible things, but I think
But
if it was
I
in
think
the
you
ring,
could jog away from
I
him
think,
pretty
yeah,
easily.
if it was up to some movement, some bobbing and weaving, I'm afraid Obama's in the house.
A Massachusetts couple said it was fun at first, but then they decided it was getting a little creepy and now they want it to stop. They've been getting mystery packages from Amazon. Mike and Kelly Gallivan said the first package arrived in October, and then they get 1 or 2 a week. They've called Amazon and said, we did not order this. And they said, well, we don't have a sender's name. We have it paid for with a gift card, so we didn't, it's been paid for. They have no idea who is sending it. They said it's mostly cheap stuff like plastic fans and phone chargers. Now, experts believe it might be something to do with buyer reviews, that an Amazon sender buys one of their own products, we'll say a phone charger, and then you go to Amazon and review it. Oh, I bought this. It's the best phone charger ever. And it's a way to bolster their reviews. But in order to do that, you have to be able to say you bought it.
Oh, and you can't send it to yourself. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Amazon won't let you do the review.
Exactly.
I don't fully understand, but okay.
So if
I want to sell something on Amazon,
Right.
but I want to put positive reviews up to either get some
Right.
good reviews or to negate some negative reviews. I can't review it myself. If I send the product to myself and review it, if I buy
Okay,
the
I
product,
got all that. Now, why are you
So,
sending it to somebody else
if I
who won't
send-
review it?
if I send it to someone else, then I can do a review and pretend like I'm them.
Now I don't get it. But okay. I mean, I get technically what happened here, but it's not, this whole thing's out of
But
my league.
imagine like a couple times a week, some random Amazon package shows up at your house and you can't return
Imagine
it.
you don't know why somebody's sending you Cat Fancy magazine for years. Sarah.
Wasn't me.
It's going to be a great trip. You could go for free. More chances to win all day long, including 8-10 this morning.
Nice. A man is accused of causing a massive flooding at a South Carolina strip club through the destruction of a toilet. Now, the cops were called to the Treasure Club after 20-year-old Pedro Alberto Banar Santiago.
I voted for him 27 years ago.
He was seen going into the bathroom, and then all of a sudden, water is everywhere.
Yeah.
This wasn't, what was that terrible movie with Jennifer Aniston and Ben Stiller where he floods the bathroom after eating Indian food?
Meet the Parents.
Well, you know
Something
the
about
scene
Mary.
I'm talking about. One of those.
That's every
One of those.
Ben Stiller movie I ever heard of.
He was angry. He
Ben
went
Stiller?
in and used the bathroom and then took out his anger on the toilet. Caused massive flooding. The toilet's completely destroyed.
If my toilet could talk, I think it would believe I was mad at it.
He's charged with malicious injury and public intoxication. They said they can't reopen the strip club because there's so much water damage.
Yeah, if you serve any kind of food or beverage or anything like that, you can't possibly, you can't have a lot of sewage, even though you think of the strip
Ew.
club angles to it.
So, I still don't understand people who eat at strip clubs.
Yeah, that's become I have heard they have decent buffalo wings.
Derek?
I mean, they don't have a lot of food up here, but down in Oregon, it's a huge thing. I walked by one that said they had the best breakfast buffet in the city.
Especially on the weekdays.
I am not a
really
giant
good.
fan of strip clubs, but I'd go to one that said it had the best breakfast buffet in the city.
Yeah.
Under pressure from U.S. safety regulators, Harley Davidson is recalling over 250,000 motorcycles worldwide because the brakes might fail. Documents were posted by the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration yesterday, saying the recall covers more than 30 models from 2008 to 2011.
Jeez.
Harley says that deposits can form on the brakes if the fluid isn't changed every 2 years, which is what's specified in the user's manual. I don't know how many of you actually read the user's manual. And
Not me.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I mean, maybe Paul and
And
Buckley.
you change the brake fluid when your bike fails to stop.
Right.
You don't change it 1 second before that.
Yeah, maybe it's that random super motorcycle nerd. But for the most part, do we ever do all that stuff we're supposed to do, like changing your oil?
I just went and changed the oil, and because it was time, because
On your
Amy
car?
said so. Yeah, because it yells at you. It says, "Hey, I'm a
Yeah.
brand new car. I've got a reverse camera, and I can tell you when to change the oil." And we change it. It won't stop saying to change the oil.
Yeah.
So I got to read the manual again and figure out how to get that thing off of there because it says I still need to change my oil, and I just did it.
Oh, they should have reset it for you.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
Oh, that's strange.
So I'm changing their name just to lube. I'm canceling Jiffy.
And a video that has captured the hearts and minds of everybody today shows something pretty awesome. It's a woman in Missouri who started shooting video when she arrived home to a bizarre scene. Her neighbor's mischievous dog riding on the back of her pony.
No and way.
It's pretty awesome.
I've not seen it. It sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And it's a corgi, so it's like all squatted down on
Yeah.
this little pony.
Like
and
the queen has?
Yeah.
Are those-
Yeah.
okay,
Yes,
cool.
and it looks like they get caught and they start riding off into the night. It's so funny. It's
Yeah.
at KZOK.com.
Oh, it is? All right,
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
Like she says, it looks like they got busted going for a ride.
How does a corgi get on a horse?
I don't
have
know.
no idea.
The horse had to have been laying down and the dog got
Or
on it.
standing
and then it
next to
stood
a
up.
porch or something like that.
It's kind of out it's in an open field, so it doesn't look like, there wasn't a ladder nearby. You think it's shenanigans?
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm hearing it's adorable, and I'm kind of turning it into the shenanigans guy. But I will tell you, if it's a real horse and a real corgi out in the field, that did not happen the way it appears. But I haven't seen it yet, so what do I know?
Yeah, it's a pony. It's a smaller, but it's not like
It's not corgi sized.
no. But it's so cute. And then they just ride off into the
That's bitching.
night.
Plus, how's a little dog know how to stay on a horsey? They do this all the time. They go have beers. They go have the best breakfast buffet in Portland.
I want to put up a nanny cam in my house and see what my cats do when we're not home, because I know they get up to shenanigans.
Okay, it's a nanny cam if you want to see what your nanny is up to. It's a cat cam, and that's what we have at our house. And I think it freaks out our cat lady, your cat lady, Chastity, I believe her name
Chastity,
is.
the cat whisperer.
Yeah, there's a little camera pointed at the bed. Well, that's just because that's where the cat goes when you're not around 19 hours a day. It's right in the center of the bed, so that's a little camera pointed. And I've left her notes saying, "Hey, we're not weirdos or anything," and I think that makes her think we're more weirdos.
So
Do you
she
say, like, hey, can you grab the cat and lay on the bed?
No, we do not say that.
Because we're going to be on vacation.
We
We'd like to
say,
see the cat.
There's a little camera in the room just so you know we're not spying on you. It's right there.
Yeah.
So, don't do whatever you might do, but why would you do that in my room?
So you told Chastity, the cat sitter, that there's a bed. There's a camera in your bedroom pointed right at the bed, just so you know.
Yes. That's exactly what I told her.
And I feel like anytime you have to say, I'm not a weirdo, you're totally a weirdo.
No,
or at least that person certainly
know what
thinks you're a
thinking
weirdo.
of? You're thinking of, I don't mean to be racist, but
Yeah,
that guy's
same thing.
always a racist.
Same thing.
And no, totally different.
I'm not a weirdo, but it's the same
I'm
thing.
not a weirdo racist, but no.
Yeah.
Gerber, the baby food company, has done something a little bit different this week. They've picked a new baby, the face of Gerber. The
How
baby-
often do they change out the Gerber baby? Is it every year that they do it?
It's periodic.
Seems like there's been a lot of them.
Yeah, but it's new, and they don't change out the Gerber baby. This is a different thing. This is right.
They have the old-fashioned Gerber baby is a woman who is still alive. We know who she
Right.
is, but I think periodically they have changed who the Gerber baby is for ad campaigns.
Right, but not on the jar. The jar has been the same forever, hasn't it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think it's that same woman.
I think it's that same woman too.
But they announce a
now in
baby
these
each year.
days and age that we live in, it's a new baby. I believe a new Gerber baby for the internet and all that stuff. And cute as hell, this baby.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as cute as a corgi riding a pony, but it will do.
The corgi doesn't have a bow tie on. I think
right.
that puts it up over this baby, little Lucas. He has his bow tie on. He's so cute.
He is cute. He is a 1-year-old named Lucas. He's from Dalton, Georgia. He is this year's Gerber baby. And Gerber has selected Lucas, making him the first child with Down syndrome selected for the honor.
And not like, and I'm not being delicate here, but when you think, I think a major company, because there's levels of all this, like autism and stuff. There's when you can't communicate at all, and when you can, but you have some issues.
Yeah.
This little adorable baby is full blown Down syndrome, and you know it when you look at the picture right away. But it's the cutest little baby. I don't know what good comes of this. I just can only assume some does, aside from the family who got $50,000 towards education.
It's not often that the cops look towards the sky while ordering somebody to pull over, but that's what happened this week in San Bernardino County, California. Residents called 911 and said there are 2 hot air balloons that are flying really low, and they're so low they might start hitting houses. Cops arrived at the scene, saw the balloons, and said, "You need to land that thing right now."
Wow.
So they did.
Right there on the street?
They were able to land in a high school baseball field. The other landed in somebody's yard. They have not released why they were flying so low, but the FAA will be reviewing for possible violations. Thankfully, no homes were damaged, but the cops are like, pull over!
Doesn't this sound like some kind of distress? Were they doing it on purpose? To be
They
annoying?
did not disclose.
All right.
We have no idea why.
Hot air balloon travel, way overrated, by the way.
I've never been in one.
You don't just say you have. It's fine.
Oh, I've been in
Yeah.
one. It's,
You went,
it's
over
Totally,
Phoenix.
totally over.
I mean, they have them over Africa and stuff like that, but you don't want to get exotic, get caught up in your own lies, for God's sake. But it does exactly what you think it would do. It goes up in the air, and the guy goes, psh, with the gas thing, and you go up and you go, oh, it's beautiful up here. And then he brings it down. And then he tells stories about bad things happening in other air balloons.
Oh.
Yeah. Not like touching somebody or anything. Oh, God.
That took a weird
That's the
turn.
story he tells about
Yeah.
what happened in your hot air balloon.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
A convention center in Cleveland say they are turning a Cold War era aircraft into a restaurant, stationary restaurant, in a bid to attract more visitors with a distinctive dining experience. This
Yes,
is
airline food. That's a terrible marketing plan, I think.
It's a Boeing KC-97G Stratofreighter that was used for mid-flight refueling, and it's just been sitting there. And they said, well, why not do something with this?
Right.
It's wasteful. Plus, it's pretty cool. And a lot of people might want to go dine inside of an aircraft that's made into a restaurant.
Yeah, I do not mind novelty dining if they don't neglect the quality of the food.
Sure.
I went on when I lived in Detroit. One of the big things, like a big Valentine's Day thing to do, a birthday thing to do, a celebration would be to get on this train that serves dinner and takes a 2-hour ride. I don't know if it was in a loop or how we turned it. I guess a loop. But they didn't neglect the food. The food was delicious. And it was super fun. Yeah. Although I eat in 40 minutes, not 2 hours. So I was kind of bummed about the rest of it.
There's used to be a bar in New York City called Idlewild, which was the name of the airport way back in the olden days. And they did something like this. And you sat in an airplane seat from the olden days and had cocktails. And the bathroom was just like on an airplane. It was super weird.
Super weird.
Because you kept expecting to move. And then you're like, okay, I guess I'm not going to move. We're just sitting here in an airplane. I mean, it's neat. I think I might go, except that it's in Cleveland.
Yes. I keep thinking Cleveland's got to be better than we've heard.
Maybe we could go to a basketball game before LeBron hangs out.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah. Show trip.
Is that it? Is that where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is? Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, we got a big weekend planned. All right.
Well, not this weekend. I'm busy.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida. Story of the day.
Yay!
According to Lake City Police in Florida, a man made a series of mistakes while robbing a bank. Donald Towns, 41, walked out of the bank with $1,200 after showing a concealed firearm. He told bank employees, "I'll kill you if you call the cops." Well, he was arrested 36 minutes afterwards because at first when he walked into the bank, he said he wanted to open a bank account and provided his driver's license
No,
to do
he
so.
didn't. God, how is that even possible that somebody's that stupid? I mean, just the sheer mechanics of robbing a bank. Tell me you're smarter than that.
Yeah.
You got no prospects. You're going to end up in jail no matter what, but you're going to write a little note. You got the gun from somebody. How
You
can
got
you
from your house
Yeah,
to the bank.
Yeah. How do you take care of your hygiene, reportedly. How do you give somebody your own license and then rob them later?
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
When we come back from our short break, a local music legend, has laid down an epic diss on one of music's biggest and greatest.
Wow.
Russell Wilson has been traded. But
What?
not from the Seahawks.
I didn't even register at first.
Not from the Seahawks. We'll explain next in sports.
This traffic report is brought to you by Phillips Law Firm. Starting to see things get a little messy on 405 northbound as you make your way from Renton up into Newcastle. And over on I-5 northbound, traffic starting to get a little heavy as you make your way through Federal Way. Auto accidents can happen anytime, all the time. If you or a loved one have been injured in a car accident, call Phillips Law Firm today for a free case evaluation. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
Let's talk some ProFlowers and some Valentine's Day and some Sherry's Berries, shall we? ProFlowers and my friends at Sherry's Berries, they have teamed up for a Valentine's gift that is just truly amazing. It's the Perfectly Paired Collection. It all comes in one great box. You should see it. Go to the website, proflowers.com, and check it out. It's two gifts in one, and right now at proflowers.com, you can save 20% on the Perfectly Paired combination or any other gift over $29 with my promo code, which just happens to be Danny. One of the biggest mistakes you can do on Valentine's Day is wait until why do you do that every single year? Why not remove that stress right now by placing your order at proflowers.com today, and you're going to get a gorgeous bouquet of flowers and delicious chocolate dipped strawberries on Valentine's Day. Guaranteed, my friends. Hurry and order today. They're beautiful, they're paired, and they say that it's these flowers you're going to love, or she's going to love, or he's going to love, and gourmet chocolate dipped strawberries together. It is a beautiful thing. That's how you say Happy Valentine's Day. There's only one way to get 20% off those gifts over $29. Visit proflowers.com today and enter my code Danny. That's proflowers.com. Code is Danny.
This is Tori with your weather report brought to you by Fred Meyer. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies this morning. There's going to be a chance of some scattered showers, which will get heavier into the afternoon. Highs in the low 50s, and it's currently 50 in downtown Seattle. Hey, seafood lovers. Fred Meyer has first of the season Dungeness crab. Straight from the cold waters of the Pacific, it doesn't get much fresher than this. Bring home fresh, wild Dungeness crab for just $5.99 a pound. Fred Meyer, what's on your list today? That was your weather. I'm Tori on 102.5 KZOK.
Starting with some music news, local legend Quincy Jones gave an interview with
Quincy
Vulture.
Jones, a local legend?
He is.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He
Awesome.
was born in Chicago but moved to the Seattle area when he was 10. Went to Seattle University for a
Didn't
spell.
know. Neat.
A little fun fact about that: he went his first semester to Seattle University with Clint Eastwood.
That is cool.
wow.
A little bit of a strange fact.
That is true. What's the other one? I think is it Harvard with Bill Clinton and that actor guy, the grumpy actor guy.
The grumpy actor guy.
They were roommates, I believe. He's got three. Tommy Lee Jones. Look at me go.
Really?
Yeah. They were roommates at Harvard. What are the odds of that?
So Quincy Jones gave an interview with Vulture that has a lot of people talking this morning. A lot of different facets to this interview, but right now talking about what's relevant in music news, it's going to surprise you.
All right.
He was asked, Quincy Jones, about his first impressions of the Beatles. He
I
said,
didn't even know he did an impression of the Beatles.
You do an impression
I
of the
do an
Beatles.
impression of the Beatles, but I'm going to save it for later.
so what are your first impressions of the Beatles? He said, the worst band in the world. He describes them as, quote, no playing mother fathers.
Yeah, he says mother, father a lot, this guy.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. He tells a story saying that Paul McCartney is the worst bass player I ever heard. Then Quincy Jones went on to tell a story about Ringo Starr and his musical ability when he was arranging Love is a Many Splendored Thing with producer George Martin for Starr's 1970 solo record. He says,
Love is a many splendored thing?
Yes.
Is this it?
This is it.
No way. I know this song.
All right, so here's what Quincy Jones has
Yeah.
to say about this. This is a quote. Ringo had taken 3 hours for a 4-bar thing he was trying to fix on a song. He couldn't get it. We said, mate, why don't you go get some lager and lime, some shepherd's pie? Take an hour and a half. Relax
Is that
a little
racist?
It seems it's very odd for sure.
Would you tell an English guy automatically, hey, why don't you go get some lager and lime? I would assume I'm fighting that guy if I talked like that to
Yeah,
him.
no, it's definitely rude.
Would you tell a black guy what he should eat?
No.
No, you sure wouldn't.
But
I
I'd
don't know
tell
if it's
Ringo what
racist.
to eat, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's racist. I don't know what it is. It's rude.
It's rude, certainly.
Yeah, it's rude, and it's in this a similar vein.
And by the way, what else you got on Ringo? Because I got things to say.
All right, so he says, go get a beer and something to eat and
Go
come back
eat
in
a
a little
shepherd's
bit.
pie.
You know what? You eat
Then-
a shepherd's.
Quincy Jones recruited jazz drummer Ronnie Verrill to come into the studio. He said he came into the studio for 15 minutes. He tore it up. Ringo comes back and says, George, can you play it back one more time? So George did, and Ringo said, that doesn't sound so bad. And I said, yeah, mother father, because it ain't you.
All right, I would cast some aspersions on this story, I think, but for Paul's the worst bass player ever, and George is a terrible guitar player, and all that stuff. If you'd have slowed down a little bit on the insults and just said, they're not that good, I just said, yeah. They were guys in Liverpool. Nobody took like music lessons or anything.
Yeah.
The only professional musician in the Beatles is Ringo. They got Ringo for another band. They
Right.
said, we need a pro. We're really young and cheap. He's the oldest guy and the only pro in the Beatles. So yeah, when you're saying George Harrison, when doing While My Guitar Gently Weeps or maybe another song, there's a really cool solo in it. He said,
Sounds good.
it's good because it's Clapton.
Oh,
It's not George Harrison because he said,
Well, there
I
you
don't do
go.
this that well. I'm going to go out and get my friend who's sleeping with my wife.
Right.
And I'm going to say, hey, Eric, would you play this because I'm not as good as you? And Eric Clapton, in all modesty, says, no, you're most certainly not. And then plays it for him. But no, they're not the world's greatest musicians. They're the Beatles. That's what they are.
and this isn't the first time that somebody's questioned Ringo's drumming
no.
ability.
And that's the one they're the kind of the wrongest about. He's a good, solid drummer. Most people I know that want to talk about Ringo when they like him, they say he's the heart and soul of the Beatles. He never misses that beat. But, I guess Quincy Jones can say whatever he wants, but isn't he old now? Can I just go senile?
Well, Quincy Jones is 84,
Yeah.
but he did have some nice things to say.
Well, that's sweet of him.
They said in this interview with Vulture to Quincy Jones, were there any rock musicians you thought were good? He said, I used to like Clapton's band. What were they called? Cream. Yeah, they could play. But you know who sings and plays just like Hendrix? The interviewer says, who? And Quincy Jones says, Paul Allen. And they
Wait.
said, stop it. The Microsoft guy?
I think he means maybe Peter Allen, the
Nope.
piano player.
Paul Allen, co-founder, multi-billionaire, who has a collection of yachts and guitars to rival the finest, both of which he makes good use of. I went on a trip to Paul Allen's yacht. He had David Crosby, Joe Walsh, Sean Lennon, all those crazy mother fathers. Then on the last 2 days, Stevie Wonder came on with his band. Paul went and played with him. He's good, man.
How big's this boat?
Paul Allen has some decent sized boats.
How
he's the guy with the
bizarre.
basketball court, right?
Yeah.
He's got a
He
basketball
has a
court.
submarine.
He has a basketball court,
tank?
full-size basketball court on his yacht, and he's got guys who travel around in a dinghy behind him for the balls that go over the net. And that's their job in life.
Oh, I kind of want that
yeah,
job.
it's a great job.
So Quincy Jones says Paul Allen of Microsoft, who we love, is a great player.
I would bet money, and I hesitate to say this now that I said I would bet money. Can't we find a video of Paul Allen playing guitar somewhere?
Yeah, I think he does a lot of jazz.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I have a video right
Do you
here.
have audio of it?
Yep, it's live, so it's not the greatest quality, but it sounds
go,
really
man.
good. Hit it.
Okay, let's say it's very, very good, and then remember that the guitar player has billions of dollars, and now it's great.
Right.
Yeah.
He still plays, and he plays some like charity shows and stuff around here. He plays. It's Paul Allen and the Underthinkers, I think is the name of
Nice.
the band.
Wait till I start busking, Mr. Allen.
Right.
Everybody will talk about me.
so. There's a lot more to this Quincy Jones interview. We will be tackling more of it at 7:30 in the big news.
I'll
'cause
tackle him. He said bad stuff about the Beatles.
He says some bad stuff about a lot of people. You need to hear the rest of,
All right.
of this interview because it's one of the most epic things. We'll tackle more of that at 7:30. But some other big music news. The Spice Girls are one step closer to a reunion. Sources are now saying a full reunion tour is about to be announced.
Even with Posh?
Yes.
Posh wasn't my favorite anyway. I don't know why she's such a stick in the mud.
Who was your favorite?
Well, Baby's the one that jumps out because it's the most perverse. Why is that grown woman dressing like that?
Yeah.
Super weird, being the baby and all pouty and weird. Scary Spice kind of scared me.
Sporty? Is Sporty?
Sporty Spice, I didn't love either. Mel B.
Okay.
What? Stinky Spice? What was she?
I thought she was scary.
No.
I don't
Ginger
know.
Spice.
What? Ginger Spice was Mel B?
Ginger Spice?
Spice. And by the way, I
Making
don't
that
really
up?
have
That's her name, right?
Yeah, no, that's a thing.
That is a Spice Girl, yeah.
No, I probably don't have a real one, but I do question the logistics. Baby Spice. That's very odd.
Well, originally, the rumors had started to come out and said everybody's on board except for Posh. But now Posh is ready to go. They'll do a UK and US tour, but they said no to a Las Vegas residency and no to recording new music. Just a reunion tour with the Spice Girls.
I didn't even ask you guys a question yet, and you said no several times.
That was one of the rumors, was a Vegas residency, and I guess they just...
They
snuck
do
it.
business.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
would do business. And several of them probably still don't need money, but somebody's got to need some dough, don't you think?
Oh, Sporty, 100%.
Think Sporty needs some dough?
Yeah. Jumanji was a huge, huge movie. It brought in, well, continues to bring in, but right now, $857 million.
That's something.
$100 million budget. It's still in theaters, going strong. They have now announced they will be coming out with a sequel. It'll have all the gang back together again, except for The Rock, who, of course, got killed off in Jumanji.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, what are you-
Totally kidding.
I'm just staring at her going, this can't be, there's got to be a punchline.
I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Also, you don't have that movie without The Rock, so I don't think you do a
Exactly.
sequel
Yeah.
without The
I
Rock.
don't know. I like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, The Rock, they'll all be
I
back.
don't know why I want to actively not like Jack Black, and I don't know why. don't know what the guy's ever done wrong
No,
to me.
I kind of feel the same way.
It's weird. He does nothing. He does nothing wrong as far as I'm concerned. He does the same movie over and over again. But so do a bunch of guys like that.
I think it's a little bit that you think like, well, I could do that. The thing he does.
I can do that. And
Right.
I will show you. It's a bad radio, although we do have cameras in here. So if you want to see my world famous Jack Black impersonation,
Yeah.
ready? Unfortunately, it's silent. For you radio listeners out there, you're going to be just one.
So
Ready?
KZOK.com
Yeah.
is where it's where
Well, I'm
to
going
see
to do
the
it to you, and then
video.
I'll turn to the camera. Here we go. Ready? That's my Jack Black. Isn't it great? Here, I'll do it for you now. Now, if I only had words to
It
go
looks
with
more
that.
like you're Jack Nicholson.
No,
to be
see,
honest.
it's Jack Black is ripping off Jack Nicholson.
I thought for sure he was just going to the bathroom.
It seemed better at home.
Kylie Jenner, Bruce Jenner, and part of the Kardashian clan,
Yeah.
so to speak. Kylie Jenner is the new queen of Instagram. The reality star's baby name announcement has become the most popular post on the social media site Instagram of all time. 13.7 million likes
Jeez.
by yesterday afternoon, compared with 11.2 million for Beyonce's baby photo. Now, this baby is named Stormy.
Because she's stupid.
Well, in case she needs a career path, it's been set up for her.
Right. She can dance. Why would you name your kid Stormy? And isn't Daddy already in jail this morning?
No,
No?
no,
No?
No?
no.
No.
Derek, her
No.
baby daddy's not in jail.
No.
is he?
He pled guilty.
Travis Scott?
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of her ex-baby daddy.
Nope. Travis Scott pled guilty to inciting a riot at a concert.
Oh.
3 people got hurt, and he said, rush the stage, and he's an idiot.
Her other baby, I keep calling him the baby daddy. She only
Right.
has one baby. Her ex-boyfriend, who she was with for a long time, he's a criminal.
Right.
What's his name, Derek?
Tyga.
Tyga.
Oh, I hate that guy. I don't, another Jack Black kind of, but I don't know why I hate Tiger as much as I do. Maybe it's his name.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Giancarlo Stanton isn't the only superstar newcomer who is headed to the New York Yankees training camp this spring. The Texas.
Tebow!
Nope. Your second
That was
favorite
a good
quarterback.
guess, though.
Oh. Pizza Manning!
Oh. Russell Wilson.
I don't think you can count our players.
Wilson.
No?
What's he do? You can't trade Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers traded Russell Wilson to the Yankees for future considerations. Russell Wilson is going to spring training.
But as a, what are they called?
Like a
double
motivational speaker. I don't think he's going to actually go and play. He goes
okay.
and pumps the guys up, and he doesn't actually, like, he'll put on a uniform for the
Didn't he play last year?
press.
I think he did 2 or 3 years ago. He went to spring training,
Yeah.
but he doesn't do
doesn't
much
play
because
in a
it's
game.
dangerous.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The NFL will not allow him to go play baseball just for fun.
The when I was doing the Partridge Show, I didn't know this because I was 10 or 11, and they knew what I was up to, and they put in my contract that I couldn't ride motorcycles or mini bikes. And I said, okay, I promise I won't. And then I lied, and then I broke my leg, and they found out.
Yeah, that's what happened to Ben Roethlisberger. Same exact thing.
Me and Ben,
Big
like
Ben.
this.
Yeah.
All right, back to Russell Wilson. He
All right.
has been traded to the New York Yankees, and he said he will not emulate Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson. He will not become a two-sport athlete, but he continues to express his love for baseball. He sent out a tweet, said, "Thank you, Texas. Hello, New York. Always said we'd be a Yankee, Pops," to his late father. So he will.
But he's not, I love Russell Wilson like he's my own son. But is he not becoming a two-sport athlete because he can't?
It's one of the most difficult things to do.
Right. But I mean,
So
but he
I'm
says we're not
guessing
going to
you're
be.
probably right.
We're not going to be Bo Jackson, but he would if he could, wouldn't he? Stay with football.
Probably.
I don't
I
think.
don't know what's in
I don't
his
think he has that kind of ego that he would want to do it. I think he knows.
I beg to differ.
Really?
I beg to differ.
He seems different than particularly Deion Sanders.
Particularly Deion Sanders, but
Yeah.
not Bo Jackson. I thought Bo
Yeah.
Jackson was a lightly spoken kind of guy and the biggest star in the world for a minute.
Well, I mean, and a lot of these guys don't want to do it because what if they fail?
Right.
You
Right.
look pretty stupid.
You don't want to be Michael Jordan out there striking
Exactly.
out in AAA.
You really
Yep.
do you want to stop that sentence right there, though? You don't want to be Michael Jordan.
You don't want to be
Really?
Michael Jordan
Just
in that
baseball.
situation.
Are
Yeah.
people wearing T-shirts that say "I want to be like Paul"? No, I don't think so. I'll be like Michael
Everybody
Jordan.
mocks Michael Jordan
Yeah.
for his
Yeah.
failed
I
attempts
saw it.
to
I was in
baseball.
Chicago for a lot of that.
A week-long sell-off on the stock market may have hurt some people's pocketbooks, but it did not hurt the value of NBA teams. The average NBA team is worth a record $1.65 billion 22% more than last year. In fact, every NBA team is worth at least $1 billion for the first time ever.
My goodness.
Franchise values have tripled over the past 5 years, and they said that part of its success and why it will continue to grow is its popularity overseas. They have huge deals to play games and to air games in places like China.
And all those places, silly places in my estimation, they have basketball teams. They're pro basketball.
Yeah.
You get into playing Ukraine, and they're not kidding.
Right.
Like if Ukraine wanted to, like all of Ukraine challenged me to a fight, I'd go, I'm probably going to win this. It's Ukraine. But it turns out they're actually good at stuff in these crazy little places that want their own sports team.
Yeah.
The New York Knicks are the most valuable NBA franchise for the third straight year. They are worth $3.6 billion.
Jeez.
And they're not even any good, are they?
No. And
They've stunk
Porzingis
for a
just
long
got
time.
hurt, so they're in big trouble. They are the sixth most valuable in the world of any sport.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But number one in basketball, followed by the Lakers, who also kind of stink. The Golden State Warriors leapfrogged the Chicago Bulls.
Wow.
And then the Celtics rounding out the top five, all worth a boat ton. I want to remind you guys that tickets are on sale right now for Whiskey Rocks Northwest, our annual event at the Terrace Club at Safeco Field. Now, last year's event did sell out, so don't delay. You need to make sure to get your tickets now. You can go to whiskeyrocksnw.com. We will all be there.
Maybe my kids again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the kids
It's a
over
fun time.
21.
There'll be whiskeys and bourbons from around the world, live music, all of us. Make sure to get those tickets now, whiskeyrocksnw.com. Lastly, the Huskies taking on the Ducks 7 o'clock tonight, and the Cougs facing the Oregon State Beavers tonight at 7:30. And that's a look at sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUIOA.
This traffic report is brought to you by Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel in Mukilteo on Highway 525 northbound at Beverly Park Road. The right lane is currently blocked, causing some minor delays. And over in Des Moines on I-5 northbound at 260th Street, currently the carpool lane is blocked, causing about a 15-minute delay. Every Saturday, Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel has special offers to thank all our military and first responders. Join them between 8 a.m. and midnight to receive $10 in free play and a 25% food discount in any of their restaurants. Details at luckyeagle.com. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
It is 1 minute after 7. So if you're supposed to be there by 7, you're probably still cool at 7:01. But be here at 7:20 as we continue our games here. We've got Pick the Panther. It is our new game, and it is a tribute, if you will, to Black Panther, possibly the coolest movie ever with 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
That's right.
But
Looks
unbelievable. So you can win or 2 tickets to a special screening. So be here 7:20.
We were just talking about going to Cleveland. True.
Of all the things we're talking about, yeah, I guess that was in there. Going
We
to
were,
Cleveland.
really.
Yeah.
We thought it would be fun to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We'll go to a Cavaliers game before LeBron pieces out. And they have decided to repurpose a Cold War era aircraft into a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a fun thing to do. Plus, we would be helping the environment because, they're repurposing this. They're making it into a restaurant, which means it's being used again and not like going to scrap or anything.
Yeah. I turned a car into a house one time.
You did?
Didn't mean to, really.
Oh,
It just kind of happened that way. But it's not quite as good as a plane, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Try living in your plane.
Well, that seems like it'd be a little more comfortable, depending on
Maybe.
size of the
Don't
plane.
wreck it for me, man.
you do see a lot of people now trying to be eco-conscious or money-conscious and repurposing stuff, though. And I noticed when we went to Mexico, we went to a lot of wineries. That's a real big effort for them is to make sure everything's being repurposed.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of it was planters, a lot of it was flowers and gardens, and everything had something that used to be something else.
I know exactly where you were, and if you look for it, it's not a real tourist thing, although when you see it, you'll take pictures for sure. And maybe you've already seen it in magazines or something. But there's a house there that people live in made mostly of wine bottles. Old
Oh,
wine
wow.
bottles.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Have you seen that? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
right near where Sarah went, near Ensenada.
That is super bizarre. And there were a lot, now that I think about it, there were a lot of wine bottles made into like reflectors for when you walk down a path. It
Yeah.
would be lined with the wine bottles, so
Oh,
then
yeah.
the light could reflect off of it. Christmas trees made out of wine bottles. There were a lot of those. That was what we did.
Yesterday, you might have noticed that I had a bottle of Perrier with me.
Yeah.
Big plastic bottle that you could throw away. But it was not full of Perrier. I didn't know I was even this cool. But it was, I had recycled it because I'm not a big fan of the taste of water. So I drank the Perrier and went, bleh. But then when I got home, I refilled it with iced tea to bring to work. So I repurposed a plastic bottle. And
There you
plastic
go.
bottles are like the devil. I'm getting straight to heaven now.
Well, you guys listening, is there something that you have repurposed? What was it? And why did you do it? Call 800-252-1025 now.
You know, who knew that Cleveland was so good at repurposing because they had repurposed themselves into New York, but they didn't. But what they did do is they took an airplane and what is it, a restaurant?
They're going to
Make
make
a
it
restaurant out of it. So the question to you out there is, what the hell have you personally repurposed or seen you repurpose this kind of interesting? 1-800-252-1025.
Start with Joe in historic Kent.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey, one of my buddies got one of my old LTDs. The engine was blown, so he pulled the engine and made a barbecue out of the engine compartment.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Made the trunk into an ice chest and put a TV in front of the front windshield.
No, that guy went the distance. I'll tell you
That's
that.
amazing.
Out of an old LTD, no less. That's kind of cool.
Is this for sporting events, Joe?
Also, those airplanes, the Evergreen Air Show down in McMinnville,
Yep.
The air park, they have a 747 on top of a building that's a water slide park, a water
Whoa.
park.
That's kind of neat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Repurpose an airplane to a water slide?
I saw a guy. I was our friend in Philadelphia, the Harley guy, big bald head. Big Ray. I
Big
can't
Ray.
believe I'm blanking on his name lately. I've talked about him a couple times. Anyway, he took a keg, because these are what handy guys that can fix their own bikes and stuff do, and he made it a smoker. And he would smoke fish and meat in this thing that
Nice.
used to be a keg. Yeah, he was awesome, that guy.
And let's talk with Cam in historic Kent.
Hey, Cam.
Good morning, guys.
What's up?
I was born and raised in Alaska, and we saved everything. And so when I came down here, I started grabbing 2x4s and 4x4s, and I'm building my kids a 3-story tree house out of all this recycled wood that everybody seems to throw away down here. So
That's so
Wow,
Kinda fun.
that is awesome. Now, to those of us down here that don't have criminals for parents, you would think, oh, it's supposed to be a
That
joke.
was mean.
No, it
was a little harsh.
It was. Were your parents in the witness protection program?
no, they were teachers, even worse.
Close enough.
They don't have schools in Alaska.
That's a little mean.
What's wrong with you,
What's
two?
wrong with you
What do you
people?
mean, you two people?
Never mind. Thank you very much for calling, Cam. I'm sorry I insulted your parents.
We are asking, when have you repurposed something? Call us, let us know, 800-252-1025. They are making an airplane into a restaurant, and who knew there's one that was repurposed to a water slide.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good morning to Melanie in Bonnie Lake.
Hey, Melanie.
Good morning, everyone.
What's up?
I repurposed my ex-husband and let somebody else put up with his crap.
I understand that completely. That's nice.
Let's hear from Roy on I-5 this morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
What do you mean?
No, I think he's cool. I think you say y'all. What's up?
I said y'all or you
Y'all?
people.
No, you people.
No,
You can't call us you
what do
people,
you
you
mean, you
bastard.
people?
Hey, that was the funniest thing in the world, the car into a home.
Oh, thank you.
That
It wasn't funny at the time,
Yeah.
but looking back
Yeah,
on
right.
it, it's kind of amusing. All right, so what do you got for us, Roy?
Well, you know what? I take manure. It gets processed through the cow. I pick it up off the ground, and I throw it in my garden.
I thought you were going to say I throw it at my kid. I don't know why I thought that. Roy would never do such a thing, but
I
yeah.
know you're supposed to do that, but it
Yeah.
doesn't smell good.
No, what is the thing with cow poop? It can do 100 different things. There are people, most of the people in Mongolia use cow poop or yak poop, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it,
to
as
make
fire and to
houses.
build their house.
Oh, yeah, dry it out
But
and then
what
use
else
it
you
for
get?
fuel.
And they use the milk to make whiskey or some kind of yak whiskey.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I was talented.
Paul, do you use manure all over your house? I mean, garden?
Yeah, we do. So mostly the chicken or pig will go into the compost piles to start to break down the compost, and then the rabbit pellets go right into the garden.
So that's kind of gross, but
Yeah.
I get it. It's just that does your whole yard smell?
No, not really. I mean, when you put fertilizer on your lawn, it's going to smell. But when you put it in the soil and it's in the garden, it really doesn't
Actually,
smell like
I would
that.
think, and I'm not an expert on this, but you know when somebody fertilizes their yard in your neighborhood, or they do the fertilization at a mall at the entrance gardens, it stinks. Oh, what's that smell? When you mix it up as like mulch and stuff
Right.
like that, it doesn't
Doesn't have
smell
that
that
smell.
bad.
Jeremiah in Seattle, when have you repurposed something?
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sweetheart. What's up, Jeremiah?
I'm going to change up here. 8-gallon pony kegs or 16 have you. Plumb just right. They make a great still.
A great
Oh, wow.
still. But I would say, and do you know how to use a still?
Oh yes, we. Well, I'm not going to.
Right. No, yeah. But I will tell you this: we were playing some game. If you could take 5 people or something to a desert island with you, and I said the first person I would take is somebody that knows how to distill. My life, I'd be
Smart.
fine. You're on an island; it's a beach, and now we have booze.
Yeah.
Jeremiah running around in a bikini. Life is good, man.
He only uses it to distill water.
Right
So,
into more water.
right.
That's what he does because he's Jeremiah.
Well, we know that you repurposed all of the number 2 that's being
Yeah.
generated. What else have you repurposed, Paul?
Well, inside a lot of things, but inside our pig pen, we have a pig house so that the pigs can go in, get out of the weather, go in at night. And that started as our neighbor's dog kennel. It was a chain link dog kennel. And then I took a bunch of stripped wood from pallets that I found out behind the grocery store and used that for sideboards. And there was a dilapidated a tree house on our property that I took the roofing off. So we built a pretty nice pig house out of.
Is it nice? It doesn't look like it's
No.
look what somebody made out of garbage. It
You,
looks nice.
you wouldn't know that it was made out of
Neat.
garbage,
That's-
and you wouldn't even know that the frame of it is that dog kennel unless you went inside.
I have very successfully repurposed a nice big Granny Smith apple into a bong, and I've done it about 100 times all the way through high school.
Classic.
So many of you and Paul, it's very impressive how handy you guys are.
Yeah.
That you can go, forage, so to speak, for discarded wood and then create art and homes out of it.
Well, then I feel left out because I'm not handy and I don't know how to do stuff. I could repurpose old wood into fire.
That's good.
It's not nothing if you're cold.
Joe and Lake Stevens, have you repurposed something?
Yes, I sure have, and a happy Wausau.
Happy what's up to you, Joe?
So what was it, Joe?
Yeah, so once upon a time there was a house that we were sort of the unofficial property managers of it. It was a rental, and somebody left behind an old piano, and it was badly out of tune, and then my wife had me cannibalize it, and then I took the shelf that you put the music on, and I turned it into a hearth over our fireplace in the living room, and we got candles and pictures and
Sounds
stuff
kinda
like that
neat.
on it.
That
Looks
does
pretty
sound
cool, actually.
Didn't you also repurpose hello into what's that? Didn't you that repurpose that? Perfectly fine standard greeting.
Tori, have you ever repurposed something?
In high school, I used to do a lot of weird crafty things, and I think I painted a towel holder, and I used that to hold my necklaces, and I had a cheese grater that I painted for my earrings.
A cheese.
Yeah.
Wow, that's genius.
It was kind of cool,
That's
actually.
super smart. I remember this. There was a lady when I was in Santa Fe, and I was buying this silver pick that I'm wearing around my neck. They displayed all the earrings on an umbrella. They'd open it and stick them through. It was
that's
like you'd think it came that way, and then you finally figure out, oh, that's an umbrella. That's super cool.
One of the ones I always wanted to do but never really figured out how. I've seen people repurpose silverware and make them into jewelry.
Yeah, I've seen that. Matter of fact, I had a bunch of that because I'm old. We had that back in the 70s and 80s.
That you were wearing like a fork around your wrist.
I think they were specifically called thumb rings, but they weren't for your thumb rings, but they're made out of spoons mostly, and the back ends of forks. Yeah, it was pretty cool then. You look pretty stupid now.
Wearing a spoon around your thumb. Derek, have you repurposed something?
So right before I take a shower, I'll grab a few of the dirty dishes out of the sink and jump in the shower with them. And now I have a dishwasher and a shower at the same time. It's brilliant.
All right, now wait. I just want to know who totally believes him, because I totally
I
believe
absolutely
him.
believe
I have
him.
him in kind of Brillo pad underwear too. Then he's shining stuff with his butt. Which makes me nervous.
No, but I'm going to do that. That's brilliant.
I'm here for you, man.
I only believe it because I believe that he washes dishes as infrequently as he showers.
Hey, it's time to play Pick the Panther. It's your chance to win tickets to an exclusive pre-screening of Black Panther, one of the most anticipated movies of the year. If you would like to play, call right now, 800-252-1025. We're playing Pick the Panther for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the exclusive pre-screening of Black Panther happening next Monday night at a secret undisclosed location. To win your way in, you'll have to correctly identify the famous panther from Danny's Clue. Our contestant is Nicole in Auburn.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I sure do.
That's all you need to do. Really, that and understand the rules to the game. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Then here we go, Nicole. This group of Panthers spends at least 7 months of the year on ice, which is odd because they live in a place with lots of sunshine and an average temperature over 60 degrees. We ridicule their home state on a daily basis, but I wouldn't do it to their faces because they're big and they carry sticks and they have blades strapped to their feet. And no, I'm not talking about Oscar Pistorius. That's a whole different sport entirely. Can you pick the Panther?
The Florida Panthers?
That is correct.
That's right. That's exactly right. I thought because her tone of voice, I thought she got it wrong. No, you got it right.
Nicole, you're going to the Cheap Winners winner in our lobby to pick up your tickets to Black Panther, the exclusive pre-screening. You have a bonus chance to win by going to KZOK.com, clicking on our contest page, where you can join us again tomorrow at 7:20 for one last round of Pick the Panther.
In Mukilteo on Highway 525 northbound at Beverly Park Road, the right lane is currently blocked, causing some minor delays. And in Olympia on I-5 northbound as you approach US 101, we have an accident that is currently blocking the shoulder, also just causing some minor delays. This traffic report was brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino. Celebrate Lunar New Year with a chance at over $1 million in cash, a brand new Ford, or a trip for two to Hong Kong and Beijing. The fun starts February 10th and goes through February 18th at Snoqualmie Casino. Above it all, I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
You know, it never hurts to have a little more cash in your hands. And whether you put that cash towards buying a home, paying down debt, a swank Valentine's Day gift, or going back to school, you could use a little extra cash. And a great way to ramp up savings is to take cash out of your home's equity. It is time to reach out to American Financing. With a cash out refinance, you have access to significant amounts of money that can help you cover the cost of life. You can call and talk to one of their salary based mortgage experts who are going to help you with the loan or the refinance that's right for you. American Financing. Refinance. If it's your first home, it's your second home, reach out to American Financing. There are no upfront fees. I like working with American Financing because they are a family owned business. Husband and wife, they've been in business since 1999, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. American Financing. Call them 206-204-3200, 206-204-3200, or americanfinancing.net, NMLS 182334.
This is Tori with your weather report brought to you by the UPS store. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies right now. There's going to be a chance of scattered showers this morning, but it should get heavier in the afternoon. Highs in the low 50s, and it's currently 49 in downtown Seattle. Your P.O. box may be sending the wrong message. The UPS store gives you a real street address, package acceptance from all shipping carriers, notify you of their arrival, and provide 24-hour access. Visit theupsstore.com to find a location near you. That was your weather. I'm Tori on 102.5 KZOK.
Don't be the guy who shows up and still doesn't know. Stick around for the big news of the day coming right up.
The stories we'll be tackling: more drama with the Tide laundry pods. Wait till you hear a local legend what he has to say about who killed JFK, Richard Pryor's love life, and his take on the Beatles. This is a wild interview. And Ben & Jerry's has an amazing new product coming out.
And, of course, the big news of the day is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men at 1-800-DIVORCE or go online to goldbergjones.com.
Another day and more talk about those Tide laundry pods. It's a move that started in New York. They are introducing a bill that would ban the production and sale of candy-like Tide pods and other liquid detergent packets that look like candy.
You know what they should do is they should ban the breeding of people that don't know how to educate their own children not to put detergent in their mouth.
Well, I guess I agree with you.
Put them on the top shelf. There you go. I fixed everything.
And these aren't
Toddlers-
young kids either. These are idiots putting YouTube
Those
videos
guys,
out.
I don't care how that goes, really. They
Yeah.
saw it coming, it's fine. They go, oh, this is awful, it's all chemically. Well, then you probably knew that was bad for you. And as for the one they do look like candy to babies who don't know any better, put them on top of the fridge.
Right.
or the laundry machine. I mean, that shouldn't even be anywhere near the kitchen.
Right.
But there's concern that it's toddlers who don't know better because they do look yummy.
They do.
Look like what are those Lifesaver swirls?
Yeah.
But they said 10,000 cases of young kids being exposed to the single-load detergent packages were reported to the Poison Center last year.
And now, did the cops go to their house immediately and take their children away from them?
I don't believe they do.
It's a shocking amount of kids.
Shocking amount of kids. And a shocking amount of parents.
Yeah.
This is a non-issue. If your kid's 3 feet tall, put them 6 feet in the air. It's math.
Yeah.
But you can't teach math either, you rotten parent.
Lock them up, put them up high somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why when they first came out with these, they then had to warn parents to lock them up. Why wouldn't all of this stuff be locked away, like up high somewhere anyway?
Yeah.
It
I think we
seems
have
crazy.
them so high up that our dog can't get to them, and we don't have a dog. That's how careful we are at Casa de Ducci.
Everybody this morning talking about a new interview with Vulture's David Marchese with multi-platinum recording producer, mogul,
Yeah, mogul.
local legend Quincy Jones. He drops about a half century's worth of hot gossip. And during
You know, it's weird that something 50-year-olds could be hot gossip, but it involves the Beatles, man.
Yeah.
It involves so many different people. So a couple of highlights. And again, this is from Vulture, and it is Quincy Jones. He claims during this interview that he went out to dinner with Ivanka Trump about 10 years ago, where this is something he refers to as a date. His daughter said, Ivanka Trump wants to go out to dinner with you. And he said, okay. And that she had the greatest legs he had ever seen.
They're good legs. I give him that. He's got an eye.
Well, he's 84 and she's 40.
I'm guessing if that dinner took place, she didn't see it as a date. Like, I could understand Ivanka Trump and Quincy Jones going out
I
to
want to
dinner.
go out to dinner with Quincy Jones.
Right,
I
yeah.
want to go out to dinner with him more than I did before he went crazy. He seems
Yeah.
hysterically fun.
Well, I don't know what he is. The saying it was a date. Obviously, we have no idea what Ivanka Trump has to say about
Right.
it. She is now moved on, married.
To the
She
White
keeps
House.
her mouth shut tight. So I'm not dating her.
He also said Bono is super cool, that Bono lets Quincy Jones stay in his castle when he visits Ireland, but their music stinks now. That's Quincy Jones.
Wow, it
I don't
started off so nice.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting that invite next time he goes to Ireland.
No, he's not staying on my favorite turret anymore.
He also said that he knows who killed JFK.
Okay. Well, I think all normal people believe we know who killed JFK. Does he think somebody different than I think?
It was Chicago mobster Sam Giancana.
Giancana. Yeah, big deal.
The connection between Sinatra and the mafia killing and Kennedy. Joe Kennedy was a bad man. He came to Frank and had him talk to Giancana about getting votes, and that's what killed JFK.
You know, I got to tell you, this is one of the least crazy things he says, to be honest with you. There's a million. If you Google that, you'll find a million people who believe that Sam Giancana killed. You'll also believe that branches of the government came to Giancana, a Chicago mob boss, and asked for it. And, you know, weird things happen with the mob and elections and things like that. In World War II, Lucky Luciano, the most famous gangster of all, the other Scarface, he was in prison. And they said, we'll let you out, but you have to leave America if you help us win World War II. And he said, Let me think about it. And then he did, and what he did, and here's, because it sounds crazy, he opened the docks of Sicily because he just shut him down from jail. So weird stuff happens. I don't think it's true. I think Lee Harvey Oswald killed him. I think Jack Ruby killed him. But I sleep better at night thinking those things. If you think this wacky stuff is true, like, for example, not landing on the moon, you're not alone. There's whole portions of the country that agree with you. I just find it easier to not think that.
Yeah.
During this interview with Vulture, Quincy Jones also talked about his very good friend Marlon Brando and said he had sex with Richard Pryor.
Quincy Jones had sex with Richard Pryor?
Quincy Jones says Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor had relations. They said, he says this about Marlon Brando. He was the most charming mother-father you ever met.
He uses that word a lot.
A lot, mother-father. Technically
would
2 words, I think, but what the hell?
Beep anything. He'd beep a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, he did not give a bleep.
Am I the only one that doesn't immediately know who James Baldwin is?
I do not know who
I
James
don't know.
Baldwin
Okay.
is.
Because he's throwing those are the most famous names in the world.
Yeah.
And Steve Blockenhesser.
Yeah,
Huh?
and I
Okay.
know some famous Baldwins, but not.
Yeah. I'm not doing the ugly Baldwin. Forget it.
But he says Marlon Brando, very good friend, had adult relations with Marvin Gaye, Richard Pryor, and James Baldwin.
Wait. People are voting Marvin Gaye, too?
Oh, yes. Marvin Gaye.
The guy that sings Let's Get It On actually does?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently with Marlon Brando.
Do you believe it, Paul?
I mean, I don't have any evidence to the contrary, but
Except
if
they
you
all
put it
claim to be
along,
straight.
if you put it with everything else Quincy Jones has to say, I'm going to say no, I don't believe it because
Although
he
he's
just
like-
seems so crazy.
I've been reading this whole thing, and he seems less crazy to me than he did yesterday. Like I said, the whole thing about President Kennedy, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people believe that.
That's
so,
common.
And then I don't know, but I just believed Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor to be straight, and Marlon could get drunk, anything could happen. I thought anyway, that Richard Pryor was like kind of viciously straight.
Yeah.
Like a big, I'm straight and look at me go.
Well, I don't know that we've heard these rumors, but it was a different time. I mean, how difficult was it for Rock Hudson to come out as gay?
Right.
And then who's the beautiful, handsome actor who turns out took tons of LSD and was married to Diane Cannon?
I was going to say Tab Hunter, but
No, very, very famous in all sorts of beloved.
Diane Cannon?
He was married to Diane Cannon, and he
Warren
dropped
Brady?
tons of LSD. And there's rumors that he also just would have sex with anybody.
This
who wasn't
cannot be that
gender.
hard to find
Cary
out.
Grant?
Cary
Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know about the LSD thing, but there are rumors about his sexuality all the
Yeah.
time.
They say he dropped over 100 tabs of acid.
At a time?
Cary
or?
Grant. That's super weird.
That is super weird.
Jody. That's my Cary Grant.
That was nice.
Well, no, do you all know that impression? Not because it sounds like, but everybody that does him does
I know that impression only from impressions.
He doesn't say it ever in any
really?
movie.
That's
Yeah,
super
people made it up.
Lastly, the big takeaway from this interview with Quincy Jones was he didn't have anything nice to say about the Beatles. He said they were no playing mother-fathers.
Right.
Paul was the worst bass player I ever heard. Ringo, don't even talk about it. And tells a story about being in a studio where he could not get a 4-bar thing.
Well,
done.
that's where the first time I go, okay, I believe that I have evidence that guy's maybe crazy or just flat out wrong. The other guy, I guess he can believe what you want to believe, live and let live. But Ringo was the only professional musician in the Beatles because he was the eldest, and Pete Best fell out. Look at all the Beatles stuff I know. And they said, we need somebody, and they say, well, that guy Ringo Starr, he's playing with, I forget the band, and they recruited him away, but he was a pro. He'd been in like 3 bands. The other guys were teenage guys that hadn't done anything.
People always knock on Ringo though
Yeah.
for not being able. Didn't Paul McCartney say, or maybe it's made up, that Ringo wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles?
He said it, but it's a great joke. Ringo was there when he said it.
Okay.
It's a press when they do Meet the Beatles and they come to America. And people are being mean to them. So everything they do has to be better than anybody else because they're the Beatles. And they say, hey, is it true that Ringo's the best drummer in the world, Paul? And Paul goes, he's not even the best drummer in this room. Pretty awesome.
Ben and Jerry's made a big announcement that they want to compete with Halo Top. So they are going to be coming out with a new line of ice creams called Moophoria, which will cut sugar and fat, but still have all of the deliciousness.
I think they're crazier than Quincy Jones. You cut the sugar and the fat, and you're not having all the deliciousness. I don't care what you say.
I got to tell you, they have a frozen yogurt line, and it's the flavor is cookie dough and brownies,
Yeah.
and then it's in a chocolate vanilla swirl. There is zero way you would know that it's low fat or frozen yogurt. It's crazy.
Doesn't sound like it is.
10 out of 10 times with a blind taste test. Low sugar yogurt? Yeah. Bring it in and put a blindfold on.
But throw a bunch of chocolate chip cookie dough and brownies in there.
But it can't be real because it's low sugar, right?
Yeah.
Well, the one that I'm talking about is a frozen yogurt, and it has maybe 4 grams of fat. It tastes and looks just like regular full-fat ice cream. This one in particular will be 3 flavors only, chocolate and vanilla ice cream mixed with cookies. That's 140 calories for half a cup, $5.60 for the entire container, which I certainly hope you don't eat. A regular pint, 1,000 calories.
Do you know what they should call it? What do they call it right now? The lower...
Moophoria.
Yeah, I think they should call it the pretty good for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably, I'm sure it's fine for what it actually is.
Yeah.
That's the big news of the day, and it is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men at 1-800-DIVORCE or online, goldbergjones.com.
That's right. There's more. Stick around at Sarah's Filthy Forecast.
It's Sarah with your filthy forecast. You might need sex on the beach and salty nuts. Those would be good refreshments for a week like this. A nice fruity cocktail might help out. Just 51 today under cloudy skies. Oh, that thermometer keeps going down on us. And some of you were told you'd be getting 8 inches. You never know how many inches you're going to get or how long it's going to last.
I got a
8,
pretty good idea.
6, not sure, but you will get snow in the higher elevations. It'll be warmer in the nether regions. Now, you know, I'll
That sounds weird.
always be on top of the latest weather. Join me next time with the best weather front in Seattle. I'm Sarah.
You know, I've heard of hot cockles, but I've never heard of warm nether either before. But I want some. I think it sounds awesome. That is, in fact, Sarah's Filthy Forecast. And make sure to be here tomorrow right around this same time, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, because if you know where Sarah's Beaver's been, you're going to win a $25 gift card to Zeke's Pizza.
This traffic report is brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino in Everett on US 2 westbound. As you approach I-5, we have an accident blocking the left lane, causing some stop-and-go traffic. And over in Mukilteo on Highway 525 northbound at Beverly Park Road, currently the right lane is blocked, causing some minor delays. Celebrate Lunar New Year with a chance at over $1 million in cash, a brand new Ford, or a trip for 2 to Hong Kong and Beijing. The fun starts February 10th and goes through February 18th at Snoqualmie Casino, above it all. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
You know, love is a gift, and this year, Shane Company has exclusive handcrafted Valentine's Day gifts that are sure to bring loving smiles from the people close to you. Valentine's Day is next week. You need to go visit Shane Company. Go to the store in Linwood or shop online at shaneco.com. When you go into Shane Company, you are going to see so many beautiful items that are all hand-selected just in time for Valentine's Day. They've got gorgeous cultured pearls, and they've been buying directly from the pearl farmers for generations. They offer the highest quality for the best value. Go see what these pearls look like. They are absolutely gorgeous. And when you go into Shane Company, unlike the other jewelers who pay their salespeople on commission, well, Shane Company, their associates are and always have been non-commissioned. Their goal is to make sure you are going to find the best gift for Valentine's Day or for your engagement or just a gift for any day. But you're going to find something beautiful when you shop at Shane Company. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company.
Thank you. It is 2 minutes after 8 right here at iHeart radio stations. And I want to say about this, our iHeart Music Awards. That's happening on Sunday, March 11th from the Los Angeles Forum. By the way, saw Led Zeppelin there in 19, like I was 13 years old. And this play's been part of my life forever. You're going to dig it. Go down to LA. You can really win a lot of stuff with this. You can win this trip. Just keep listening for the new keyword in your queue to text. And you can win airfare, deluxe hotel accommodations, and tickets to the show.
We were talking in the news about a man in South Carolina who went to a strip club and went into the bathroom and flooded the entire place.
Right.
And if you've ever flooded a bathroom or, seen a toilet clog or something, that's mortifying.
You guys know my father-in-law, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet guy. Couldn't be more good-natured and lovely. He stayed one weekend with my mother-in-law here at my house. And apparently there was like melee at my house because he had clogged up the toilet and didn't know what to do about it. And we don't have a plunger. And he said, I can't live like this. Went to the store at like 4 a.m. So you're right. It's mortifying to do that.
So embarrassing. And in this case, he was drunk and, proceeded to cause mayhem. But he caused over $3,000 worth of damage to the strip club. And Candy and Bambi can't work until it gets fixed.
Where's Derek gonna hang out?
If the level of weirdness is equated to the money, then I can beat that guy by $2,000.
What'd you do?
I was semi auditioning for a job, if you will, in 1990, 91 at the Loop in Chicago radio station. So we went up to the 94th floor of the John Hancock building where the Signature Room is, this great restaurant, 94 stories up in the air. And we were talking and we're getting more drunk and playing around. And they bring me these cool steak knives because it's a steakhouse. And I showed them that trick I can do where you go between your fingers with a knife. And I went, bah, 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 and I did it for a really long time. They're all going, wow, great, that's neat. And we all left, paid our bill, and life was good. And then they got a bill like the next day for $5,000 for the African cherry wood table that I had carved a hand into.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And that haunted me for years, that story. Like, people were mad.
Wow, I bet they were.
Yeah, they were.
Well, you guys listening, have you accidentally caused damage at a business or maybe someone else's house? Danny's done both.
Yeah.
Share your story by calling 800-252-1025 now.
All right, here's the question. And the question, so a guy goes into a restroom. Was it a strip club in Cleveland? Is that what we've decided?
South Carolina.
Same place. And does $3,000 damage? So the question is, what damage have you done or seen done or even was done to you? I'll take all of them. Here's our phone number that you should call, 1-800-252-1025.
I mean, most of the time it's accidental. You accidentally cause damage. Like, I know when you did the Russian roulette with your fingers, whatever you call that game.
That'll do.
you didn't mean to ruin the table.
I probably ended up bleeding a couple of times during it, but that's the way I was taught to do it. My dad taught me to do it. And so you expect that. The damage you're going to do to your hand is kind of expected. There was a white tablecloth. I did not expect my handprint. And the fact that I know it's African cherry wood means I got a bill, which I did not pay. My boss paid and still hired me.
Wow.
Yeah.
800-252-1025. Have you accidentally caused damage at a business or someone else's house? Let us know your story. Call now. And let's hear from Megan in Lakewood.
Hey, I'm Megan.
Hey, Danny and Sarah.
What's up?
So, my best friend and I had gone out drinking in the U District and had way too much and then decided to go for sushi at a restaurant that she was friends with the owner. And sake was not sitting well. I went into the bathroom and proceeded to throw up as the entire contents.
That's gnarly.
I didn't make it all in the toilet, and then I went to flush, and the toilet was broken.
I feel for you terribly, Megan, but I will tell you this. When I was the manager of Sushi on Sunset, this is one of the most popular restaurants in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. Line, hours wait to get in. But it was a refurbished house, like an old bungalow type, 2-story right on the Sunset Strip, and they never changed out the plumbing. It was a house's toilet, and it like couldn't handle it several times a week, and they wouldn't change it. So I want you to know that the pain that you think you went through, and it sounds like you did go through, I have seen 1,000,000 times, so you're not alone, Megan.
I think we've all seen this. Most of the time it's accidental, somebody accidentally causing damage at a business. I was in Venice, Italy, and you know what Venice is well known for?
Water.
And?
Pasta.
Glass.
Oh, yeah. No, she's right, though.
Right.
So the Murano glass, super expensive, world class, and you can go into places and see, kind of like here, you can go to Chihuly.
Right.
You can go to glass blowing studios. Well, people with a backpack on don't realize they're so much bigger than they know. You turn around.
Oh, no.
Smash. They had to pay for it all. They must have smashed 3 pieces
This
of
wasn't
art.
you. This was other tourists.
This
who,
was not me,
wow.
thank goodness.
You know, I have seen that. People with their backpack on, and they don't know it's on their back, and they turn around. I mean, they know it's there, but they just don't think about it.
Yep.
You know what else I see every now and again? People with their backpack in front, and I don't like them.
I wear it in the front when I don't want to smash Murano glass.
See, I think people wear it in front when they're scared and don't want to be pickpocketed. They've heard bad things about this neighborhood, this country, this state, whatever it is. And when I see somebody wearing their backpack in front, I think they're judging me.
Oh, I think they've got something valuable that maybe I should investigate a little closer.
That's why they wear it in front so you can't.
Right.
Have you ever accidentally caused damage at a business or someone else's house? That's the question we've posed at 800-252-1025. And Shag in Everett is calling.
Hey, Shag.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I was doing a 30-day stint in the Snohomish County Work Release Program.
Yeah.
On my very last day, they sent me across the street to the old Snohomish County Jail. They were doing some remodeling, and I was sanding on some walls. I hit the electrical power wires and that light switch. I blew out both main fuse boxes on that floor and downstairs, shut off all the video courtrooms, all the power in the whole building. It was down for 3 days, cost them a couple $1 million.
Well, very good story. It's just what we asked for, 1-800-252-1025. But I got to know, so what'd you do, man? What'd you do wrong?
It was all on traffic tickets.
You did 30 days over traffic tickets? Did you have like 900 of them?
About 6 driving unsuspended.
Wow. Hey, did anybody see on the news that they brought back chain gangs?
No.
Chain one guy to another guy and make him do stuff down the highway. And like 9 or 10 of it was big news.
In Washington?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got guys chained to each other doing stuff next to the freeway.
I'll
Now-
have to investigate.
In the movie, when you're in the jailhouse and you hit the electrical line, all the cells open. Do you think that happened?
Yeah.
I don't know that happened to Shag.
I believe it happened to Shag.
What about you, Vincent Federal Way? Did you accidentally cause some damage at a business or someone's house?
Yeah, kind of accidentally got out of hand. Bunch of friends, we had a party while we were drinking a bunch of beer in high school and moved the party into a house that was vacant. And by the time things were said and done and things got out of control and a couple hundred people showed up, we ended up with a bill of about $16,720.
Oh.
About?
Well,
there was some change.
About the $1,675.83. What he said.
Oh, you hear about that happening to people?
I hear about it in like high school.
Yeah.
Like they only tell a couple people my parents are out of town. Isn't that the storyline of a bunch of different movies?
Absolutely.
Starring Seth somebody?
Yeah.
Paul, have you been plagued with this?
Yeah, the one and only car accident I've ever been behind the wheel for. I was 15 years old, and I'm driving with my parents. I've got my learner's permit. I'm driving our family van, and it was a really foggy night, and I drive right into this little old lady's front lawn through a decorative, like really ornate decorative brick wall that was in her front lawn. Banged the van up pretty bad, demolished the brick wall. The highway patrolman that shows up on the scene, first on the scene, it's his mother-in-law's house.
Oh, man. What are the odds of that?
I'm having a great night. So I spent that summer learning masonry and rebuilding this brick wall with a mason. And that was my punishment.
That's kind of cool, though.
I had to be his apprentice. And
is that like bricklaying, masonry work?
Yeah. So I had to rebuild this really ornate brick wall. And then for like 2 or 3 years, everybody at school called me Bricks.
Right.
And made fun of me that I before I even had my driver's license, I had already
time-honored
smashed.
profession, my man.
Yeah.
Time-honored. You know what? Remember the fridge from the Chicago Bears? That's what he does. He's a bricklayer now, and
Wow.
he's very proud of it. The only reason I know is he does TV interviews like every 6 or 7 years to show how great he is at bricklaying.
Robert, in Tacoma, have you accidentally caused some damage?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Let's hear about it.
What happened? Well, I work in a Ford dealer in Boston. I'm from Boston, and I live in Tacoma now. Anyway, I worked in a Ford dealer and used to drive through the shop to write the cars up in for the daily work. Anyway, a car came in. It was a Boss, 1970 Boss 302 Mustang. This is going way back.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, it sure is. Anyway, my brother-in-law just got a job there, and he's a CPA, and he was just trying to make money for college, and I'd already been working there a while. Well, we had a tractor that used to push the cars out of the shop that didn't run, and what I'd do is we'd give them a running start to the end of the door, which is a long shop, and I'd hit the brakes on the tractor, and the car would launch, and you get that momentum power to go park the car somewhere in the yard quick. Well, anyway,
there's more. I didn't know there was more. Hey, just for fun's sake, Robert, what do pirates say?
What?
What do pirates say?
I don't know. You got me on that one.
R. Can you say that? The guy can't say one R. I'm from Boston. I'm going, I don't know if I believe him. Then we got to park the car. And I go, oh, he's from Boston.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robert.
He was better than Ryan O'Brien.
That was a great accent.
More believable.
Mark in North Bend, good morning.
Good morning, you guys.
Morning. Yeah, cool. What's up, Mark?
I blew out the power to Lee Summit, Missouri.
Wait,
the whole town of
I was driving an end dump hauling dirt and went up in the air with it and was close enough to a high voltage tension line that the power arced across to my trailer and broke the wire, and it hit the ground, and I blew the transformer at the substation.
I bet you get to go see those movies free. I blew the transformer.
Dave in Federal Way, did you cause some damage to a business?
Half a day from Guam,
Hey,
guys.
Dave, what's up, buddy?
Hey, can I send a shout out to my buddy Josh Calvo down at Gracie Baja in Tacoma? They opened up.
All right, yes, you can.
Nice.
All right,
like you just did.
Yeah, me too.
And what's this? I was driving my semi truck through University Place there, and I guess the wires were too low, the internet wires, so I started taking them down, and all the neighbors were pissed off when I stopped. We're like, my internet is gone, you know?
Wow.
Everyone's trying to watch porn. And
Trying to watch a little porn, and Hop a Dave ruins your whole vibe. I understand. Hey, thanks. Good luck on that Gracie Baja Jiu-Jitsu in Tacoma. Right on.
Tori, have you caused some damage at a business?
Okay, so I was at this guy's house and he had all this art, like really nice art, and he had this figure, like a skeleton Day of the Dead from South America.
Yeah.
And it was on this really high shelf, and I was trying to get to the kitchen, and he's in the bathroom, and it just, I must have bumped into it because it came crashing down and the head popped off. And so instead of like telling him the truth, I just set it on top of the body and just didn't say anything.
You just pretended it didn't happen.
Yeah, I did. It's probably still broken.
I would probably do the same thing if
You
it was
could have
like
gone
something
to
you
the
didn't know
store and
well.
bought a new head. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Derek, how about you?
So, outside some businesses, they have those flimsy little plastic signs that say 15-minute customer parking only.
Sure.
So I'm parking in front of a sandwich shop that I used to frequent quite often. And I go to park, and I accidentally go a little too far, and I'm up on the curb. And I was like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm an idiot, so I better get off this curb. And I panicked a little bit. So I go to back off the curb, but the car wasn't in reverse. So I ended up just pushing straight forward into the sign and just running it over completely.
Just so you feel a little better, I guess. I don't know that everybody has crashed, but I don't know anybody over 20 that hasn't thought they were in reverse and wasn't and gone the wrong direction.
Yep.
I've backed in a couple of cars doing that my own self.
Those signs are stupid anyway. I'm glad I ran it over.
Stupid.
This traffic report is brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino. Seeing some delays on 405 northbound as you make your way through Renton. And both directions of I-5 are looking a little bit messy as you make your way into downtown Seattle. Celebrate Lunar New Year with a chance at over $1 million in cash, a brand new Ford, or a trip for two to Hong Kong and Beijing. The fun starts February 10th and goes through February 18th at Snoqualmie Casino, above it all. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
Hey, if you have a elderly parent who's still living at home and would like to remain there, you've probably been through the stress of finding good in-home care. Well, I am right with you. As you know this, I'm going to tell you about ServeWell and ServeWell.com. What they are, they're a matchmaking service for senior care in the Puget Sound area. It makes perfect sense. My mom, Betty, 93 years old, insists on living at home. You know, my brother and my sister are in the same state with her, and they're there when they can. But it's really, really tough. If you need help finding quality care for your aging parent, go to ServeWell.com. Choose your service, your caregiver, and your price, and then let ServeWell take care of all the rest. ServeWell is more affordable than most home care agencies. Why? Because they cut out the middleman. Any costs that don't go directly to delivering care for your loved one, they cut it out. ServeWell's leadership, they've been in this business for over 30 years. So no matter what you need, if it's a housekeeping, personal care, grocery shopping, companionship, or managing medications, ServeWell's got the answers. Watching our parents age can be stressful. Let ServeWell help ease your peace of mind. Go to ServeWell.com.
This is Tori with your weather report brought to you by Fred Meyer. It's going to be mostly cloudy today. We have a chance of some scattered showers, which will increase into the afternoon. Highs in the low 50s, and it's currently 49 in downtown Seattle. Hey, seafood lovers, Fred Meyer has first of the season Dungeness crab. Straight from the cold waters of the Pacific, it doesn't get much fresher than this. Bring home fresh, wild Dungeness crab for just $5.99 a pound. Fred Meyer, what's on your list today? That was your weather. I'm Tori on 102.5 KZOK.
Police continue to search for a gunman after a 16-year-old boy was shot in the head in Seattle's South Park neighborhood last night. Police were called to the scene near 14th Avenue South and South Trenton Street just before 7. They'd received reports of shots fired. The teenager was found on the scene in critical condition, taken to Harborview. They have not located a suspect yet. This is an ongoing investigation. Seattle will be moving to vacate misdemeanor marijuana possession convictions that were prosecuted by the city before marijuana was legalized here in Washington. In a news statement sent out this morning, the city said Mayor Jenny Durkin and City Attorney Pete Holmes will be asking Seattle Municipal Court to vacate convictions and dismiss charges for misdemeanor marijuana possession. And Durkin said that they will be making another big announcement at 10 to sort of formalize all of this, but at 10 o'clock at the Rainier Community Center this morning.
A good idea, really. I mean, I think in a way, if you didn't do something like that pretty quickly, you'd be opening yourself up to litigation. You know, that it's not like, because they're going with misdemeanor. I'm thinking, well, you're going to let out the rum runners when Prohibition was ended? Because the difference is they put people at danger, high-speed chases, all that stuff that we see in all the oldie-timey movies. These are guys with some pot. Yeah, they need to let them out of jail as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Now, according to this statement this morning, marijuana possession arrests in Washington rose sharply in the 25-year period from 1986 to 2010. They started at 4,000 and went up to 240,000 arrests for marijuana.
For pot? That's crazy. Wait, 250,000 people in 1 year?
That is, they started looking at it in the beginning. It was only 4,000. Then it went to 11,000. And then by the end of all of this, it wound up being 240. So a lot of people with these convictions that will then get vacated, according to...
Is that about the 25% of Tacoma?
It's a ton of people.
It's a ton of people.
Yeah. And a terrible story in making national news. An 11-year-old boy is being called a hero after he died trying to save a friend from a frozen pond in New York City. The 11-year-old boy named Anthony and his 12-year-old friend were walking in a park. His friend ventured out onto a frozen pond and fell through the ice. Anthony rushed to help his friend. He fell in too. Anthony pushed his friend out of the water safely onto more ice, was not able to save himself.
Jeez Louise.
Terrible story.
All right, but I mean, I think the least we can do is regale that young man as a hero to his family.
Yeah.
According to a strange story that came out yesterday, First Lady Melania Trump has a Twitter account, and she follows 5 people. 5 people only. One of them happens to be President Barack Obama.
That's interesting. But I don't think she's like very stupid. I think. But I mean, when you
Not
have
as much as the president.
when you appear to struggle sometimes with English, people have a tendency to judge you harshly. It's like, why don't you go speak Slavic or whatever the hell she speaks? She's doing okay in my book, and I believe she speaks 5 other languages. So she's no idiot. But so I will tell you this: that following a successful president, not a bad call.
Well, you need to send her a tweet and find out if she'll make you number 6.
I will. I'll do exactly that.
She follows her husband, Vice President Pence, his wife. I don't know who
is Pence crazy.
No, he doesn't seem that crazy.
He doesn't.
He definitely has a lot of viewpoints that I would disagree with.
And he has weird. How about the whole "I'll never be in a room with a woman unless my wife is there"? How do you go through life like that?
Very, very religious conservative.
Right, but I mean, that's right up to they can't speak to me, they can't look at me, they can't shake my hand. It's really close in my estimation.
I'm sure your wife wouldn't mind if you decided to never be alone in a room with another woman.
Neither would my lawyer, but that's not the point. I'm not vice president.
Authorities say a woman was found standing outside a South Carolina church with something unusual in her hand. A minister heard somebody outside and...
Wait, where would you say she was?
A church.
And no, in what state?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
She had a book. That's the weird thing.
She had her eyeball.
Well, that's odd.
Glass?
Nope.
What?
Her real eyeball.
I just assumed it was glass.
Nope.
Her real eyeball.
Her real
in her
eyeball.
hand.
Wow.
She
Did she promise somebody she'd keep an eye out for him?
She gives her word.
They were taking her to the hospital. They're presently investigating, trying to figure out what happened. Did she do this to herself? Seems to be the likely answer.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Yeah, the commitment level there.
Yeah.
But, the standing with an eyeball in your hand, they don't just roll around in our heads. They're connected to a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
This must have been difficult.
I'm sorry, I put that story in the news.
Sammy Davis Jr., he lost his eye in a car accident, and he pulled over to talk to the people that were in a crash. Everybody was okay. And he asked them, "Are you okay?" And they start screaming and flipping out, and his eye is hanging out to about his chin, man.
A couple in Florida were arrested. They had been pulled over, and they were in trouble. So they were pulled over. They were swerving, crossing the yellow line several times. Deputies ran their licenses and started to write up a traffic warning. Another officer had a narcotics dog on site and were sniffing around, and the dogs alerted them. So they take the couple, they put them in the back of the police car, and that's when they were talking to each other, maybe not realizing that all that is recorded.
Oh, I wouldn't have realized that necessarily.
He tells his wife, who is in the back of the patrol car with him, "Put this in your whatsits," and hands her a little plastic baggie that she then tries to hide in her whatsits. He tries to hide some down by his whosits, but all of this was being recorded, and they were able to take a look down there and found the plastic baggie full of the cocaine that the dog was looking for.
Wow.
So a word to the wise, if you're in the back of a police cruiser,
Right. Yeah.
don't tell any secrets.
Oh, word to the wise, don't run around with a bunch of cocaine in your car. There's a lot of words to the wises in this story.
Because if you're not on the recording, but they find it anyway, you could always say, like, I have no idea how that got there.
I must
What
have sat
kind
on
of
it.
girl do you think she is, Paul?
Oh, Florida.
Get up there and find
Florida.
a bunch of class rings.
Oh, Florida.
Florida.
Oh, Danny.
A deputy in North Carolina has been fired after he allegedly robbed a bank earlier this week. He is Davidson County Sheriff David Grice. He went into a bank and robbed it.
Yeah.
He's the popo.
Right,
In
he's
uniform?
not supposed to do that.
He is not
No.
supposed to do that. And the police force is now saying that this guy's been fired, that nobody was injured. He did not resist officers. They're trying to figure out why.
Well, I'm going to go with you had money problems. That's it. I'm going to go with money and women and drugs.
Yeah.
There, I'm out. I'm good.
Gambling.
What's one of those?
You know, in these towns, somebody recognizes you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's craziness. Although it's a time-honored tradition when I watch the 10 best outlaws in the Old West. It's an actual show, believe it or not. I think number 7 is a sheriff, and he'd do that, and he'd ride to a next county with his men and rob, and he became a famous bank robber while still being the sheriff of another town. So that was, I guess, the 1860s, so it's nothing new.
I would not mind spending a day back in those times. Like go
Seems
to Deadwood.
dirty to me.
Does. That's why just a day.
Dangerous, yeah.
Dangerous and dirty. I'd like to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
But
well,
to see what that was like.
Can you take back stuff with you? Can I take an Uzi and then be king of the world? Because then I want to go back to Roman times when nobody has a gun,
Yeah.
and now I'm Emperor Danny.
Yeah. But just for a day. Like, I'd be okay sitting around in a toga for a while.
Yeah. It's
For
a good
the
idea,
day,
the toga.
Hang
Yeah.
out and watch. That sounded creepy.
You'd have to show the left boob, right?
I forget what
I
they
forget.
mean.
One of them indicates something, the other one indicates you're Republican. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Things are a little bit weird there. Somebody was out squirrel hunting with an air rifle and caused an elementary school to be placed on lockdown. I mean, out squirrel hunting, kind of no
Right.
big deal. Only they got a little spirited and went onto school property. Somebody then looks out the window and says, oh my gosh, Becky, there's a guy out there with a rifle.
Right, air rifle looks just like a rifle.
Yeah.
It is
it
a
does.
rifle. It's just an air rifle.
Yeah.
Well, they said, okay, he's not here to do any harm to humans. He's just out hunting squirrels. So they had to place the school on lockdown. It's been reopened. They said everybody's okay. Nobody was in any
The
danger.
school on lockdown. I thought you said they placed a squirrel on lockdown.
Oh, maybe
Do you know
I
how
did.
hard it is to lock down a squirrel, Paul?
Yeah.
First of all, you got to get those tiny little handcuffs out of the glove compartment.
I'm almost positive that's what you said.
I wouldn't be surprised. Next Wednesday is Valentine's Day.
I know what that means.
It means go to Hooters.
Oh, hey, there
It
you
does?
go.
All right. I'm in.
I don't know that either of you. Well, I guess you could.
I don't think my wife would go crazy if we went to Hooters. And I think she might come with us if we said, "Hey, we're gonna go to Hooters. Want to go?" I think she'd go.
Yeah.
I think
I've only known her 11 years. I think maybe I don't know.
I think your spouse's holiday and Amy would approve, because what you're supposed to do at Hooters this year is bring a picture of your ex and shred it, and you get free chicken wings.
Wow.
So
That
it's
sounds
for
stupid.
mainly meant to be for single
Right.
people who are angry.
Yeah.
But you're a married person.
I'm
and you're
married and I'm angry. I'm still angry. I can't stop being angry.
So you want to get out a little anger and
Yeah.
have some delightful chicken wings served by a scantily clad.
It's very close. It's very
Hussy?
similar. I hate my ex. I'm still mad about it, so I want to have sex with the Hooters girl. Oh, and I'll tear up a picture of somebody. Anybody. I don't care.
I don't think that's the promotion they're running.
Is that not to have sex
No.
with the Hooters girl?
Nope.
It seems like the promotion they're running.
The Hooters in South Lake Union went out of business, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
gone.
There's one in Tacoma, though, right by Tacoma Mall.
Notice he doesn't have to Google any of this.
Nope. A man has been arrested for attempting to rob a Big Daddy's Pizza restaurant with a large metal pole. 36-year-old Curtis Sims entered the store. He was wearing a large white garbage bag, and he asked the cashier for money. Police then say he swung from behind him a large metal pole, hitting the cashier in the hand.
Oh.
They were able to confront him because it's not that easy to wield a large metal pole.
No.
Police arrived to the scene and were taken. Police arrived at the scene and he was taken into
There
custody.
you go.
Did not get any money. Did not get any pizza.
But going to jail, whack the guy with a pole, I believe you're going right to jail.
It's not the weapon I would choose.
No, me either, but I also would I'd choose a better disguise.
The
It
big
looks like
white
somebody
garbage
threw
bag?
out a robber.
Oil and water apparently don't mix, and neither does oil and acid. A Pennsylvania man presented a real slippery situation for law enforcement. He was reportedly high on LSD and covered in cooking oil and completely naked except for one sock. Police arrived at the scene after receiving
Where
the
was
phone
he wearing
call.
the sock?
On his foot.
Oh.
Yep, one sock on his foot, not there.
That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Well, police had received a call of a man who had been acting strangely, probably because he was on LSD, covered in cooking oil, and naked except for one sock.
Yeah.
When police arrived, he started approaching them in a scary fashion.
There's no other way to approach anybody if you're naked with cooking oil on one,
One
sock.
sock,
I'm
yeah.
afraid of you right now.
Officers used a taser on him, sending him to the ground. But due to the icy conditions, they couldn't get to him in time, and he kept rolling on the ground until he was able to pull the wires off the taser. Then he fled. They chased him,
I did not see this story going this way.
No.
tased him again, but it seemed to have no effect.
He's going to be hard to detain, too, because he's covered in cooking oil.
Right.
Yep. They could not get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Finally, they were able to make the arrest, but it took like 4 guys to subdue the tased man covered in cooking oil.
I
naked
see.
With one
I
sock.
thought he ignited. The way the story was going to go, I thought he burst into flames.
Yeah.
That did
But I like
happen
your story's
recently.
more fun. Yeah, it is. That happened recently. Your story's more fun.
I'm wondering what the mindset is, though. And granted, you're on LSD. I don't know what that's like, but you're feeling
It's
different.
pretty good fun, really. It just lasts too long. But
And
back to you in the studio.
You take your clothes off. Okay, fine. I
Yep.
get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to take your clothes off when you're on an intoxicant. But the cooking oil?
Don't understand it at all.
Oh, you just want to show off your body. It's like in those bodybuilding competitions, they're all oiled
It was
up.
like that
That's what
guy
you're
from
thinking.
Tonga.
Yeah.
Remember
It's-
that
no,
guy?
it's
It was
exactly
that
like
guy.
that.
If that
Yeah.
guy took acid
Right.
and only wore a sock, it'd be exactly like that guy.
Planet Earth has been holding out on us. There's a publication called Planet Earth, and there is a new publication that shows a beetle that does something a little bit unusual.
Plays well, according to Quincy Jones.
This is a crazy beetle. It's a bombardier beetle.
Oh, the bombardier.
Yep. It produces chemicals in their gut, including hydrogen peroxide and compounds that can damage tissue. They have a hard shell that protects them from this acid, but what they do is they can number two other predators and kill them with what's coming out the back.
Oh, I've been told I could do that.
I believe it.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
That is pretty gross.
Now, they also say that the way these beetles are made, like I said, they've got that hard coating. Toads eat the beetles, and then the beetles live inside the stomach of the toad, and because it can't digest it, they get thrown up and live.
Thrown up or pooped out?
They are puked out.
Puked out.
They can kill people with their number two. And
They
then,
can kill people with their
I'm
number
sorry,
two?
not people. They can
Oh.
kill predators.
Okay. I was going to go get some, hide them in your lunch.
But then toads eat them, and they're so gross that the toads throw them up.
Okay. Well, this is all the weirdest story I ever heard. Man, there's so much weird stuff in nature, though.
Yeah.
Like, things that can have babies all by themselves and things like that, things that glow in the dark. Nature's weird.
Nature's weird.
That's why I'm mad at it.
Loser, nature abuser.
You give me a chance, mister.
Well, we've been talking about Valentine's Day. Yeah, it's right around the corner. It's
Yeah.
Wednesday. If you were interested in getting engaged, there is a restaurant in Boston that would like to help you. For $3,000, Polly's in the North End will give you their Big Boy Burger that will arrive with a 7 1/8 Neil Lane ring nestled in the bun. So you can get engaged with a burger.
7.5 carat? Is that this?
Yeah. But did I leave that
I don't
one
know.
out?
I don't know.
7.5 Neil carat ring, I think I said. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Almost a carrot.
Now it's in Boston. Do I have to fly or can I take the car? I was waiting like 30 seconds to do that.
I always wonder how many times this has gone wrong.
The people choke on the ring?
Yeah,
I would
or
think
you
a bunch.
eat it. You swallow it. It's in the champagne glass. You don't know what's in there.
And then I don't think you can search for the ring unless you've married that person. I think that person might have to retrieve the ring on their own. Then, because I hate you, I would say I never found it. And then I'd marry the next guy with it.
Yeah, just don't do that.
I do that. You know where you can't buy that ring? In the
Where's that?
duty-free store. Sometimes you think that guy should be arrested. I do.
I just look over at Tori. She's rolling her eyes, going, "Oh my god!"
Comedy genius, Tori.
Oh, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
We need to take a short break. When we come back, a surprising statement from Paul Stanley in Kiss about the future of the band. A sad passing from the classic rock world. Richard Pryor, some strange allegations were made about him by Quincy Jones earlier in the show. We have an update, and the data might surprise you with what we have to tell you about that. And, of course, lots going on in sports, including that Russell Wilson trade in baseball news next.
Wow.
This traffic report is brought to you by the UPS store on the I-5 Express lane southbound at Olive Way. We had an earlier incident blocking the road that has been cleared, but you are still seeing some stop-and-go traffic. And on I-90 westbound as you approach the I-90 bridge midspan, again, earlier an accident that has been cleared, but still seeing about a 15-minute delay there as well. Your P.O. box may be sending the wrong message. The UPS store gives you a real street address, package acceptance from all shipping carriers, notify you of their arrival, and provide 24-hour access. Visit theupsstore.com to find a location near you. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.
Hey, Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries, they have teamed up for Valentine's Day to create the perfectly paired collection of gifts, and that's featuring decadent treats and beautiful bouquets in one perfect box. This is great, but it's a today-only deal. I think it's today and tomorrow. Listen, it's two gifts in one, and right now at proflowers.com, save 20% on any perfectly paired combination or any other gift over $29 and gets to use my promo code, which luckily is Danny. One of the biggest mistakes people make on Valentine's Day is to wait till the last minute. Don't do that. Relieve that stress. Order right now at proflowers.com. Get the beautiful flowers and delicious chocolate dipped gourmet. And by the way, real full on gourmet. You'll see the second you look at them. Strawberries. They're guaranteed to be delivered fresh and delicious on the day of your choosing. This is a one of a kind Valentine's Day gift. Sure to impress that special someone, but it's a limited time offer for Valentine's Day. It's next week, so get on board. Don't wait. Get the perfectly paired collection and think inside the box. Hurry, get the 20% off all the gifts over $29. Visit proflowers.com today. Use my code Danny. That's proflowers.com. My code Danny.
Starting with some music news, some sad news to report. Grateful Dead lyricist, as well as Electronic Frontier Foundation and Freedom of the Press founder John Perry Barlow died today at the age of 70. This news was first passed along by filmmaker Amir Bar-Lev, who featured him in that movie about the Grateful Dead that came out last year, Long Strange Trip. He had been dealing with some health issues, but was only 70.
That's too young.
Yeah.
That screws up my plan.
He met Bob Weir back in high school at age 15. They were fast friends ever since. He was one of their big writing partners. He did Cassidy, Throwing Stones, Hell in a Bucket, Lost Sailor.
Oh, you say did, like co-writer?
He was the co-writer. He was the
Cool.
lyricist. Yeah. And,
Wow.
I mean, a lot of their well-known songs, Mexicali Blues. But sadly, John Perry Barlow has died at the age of 70.
It's a lot of songs that band has.
Yeah.
The soundtrack to the upcoming HBO documentary Elvis Presley, The Searcher, will feature a score composed by Pearl Jam guitarist Mike McCready.
Neat.
It'll be released on April 6th. Two of the selections from McCready's score are a track called Dissolution 2 and another titled Rebound. They'll be included on a deluxe box set version of the soundtrack. So inside of this, we'll have obviously a whole lot of Elvis.
Neat.
A whole lot of Elvis going on.
I'm a big fan of the King.
I don't blame you. He was the king.
He was the king for a reason.
Everybody loves
Also,
Elvis, right?
by the way, Mr. Quincy Jones, also a terrible musician, Elvis Presley.
Well, he wasn't asked about that.
Right. But I'm just letting you know, that guy's the king, and the other guys are the Beatles. Apparently, being the best musician on the planet is not a prerequisite.
No.
Being great. Ask me in a year when I'm playing nightclubs are all around.
Well, if you weren't with us earlier when we talked about this, it's Quincy Jones' article that a lot of people have been talking about, an interview he did with Vulture magazine. Vulture, its a website, a publication.
Oh, it's not an actual magazine? Like made of paper?
I don't know if it's paper anymore. You know, it's
Oh,
hard.
but it was? Because I've never heard of it. That's all. I didn't know what it was.
It's definitely hard to keep track of who has stopped print and who hasn't.
Yes.
But in this very lengthy interview, Quincy Jones has a lot of negative things to say about the Beatles. Not just Ringo, but he does certainly bash on Ringo. He says that U2's new music is awful. Rock music on the whole is awful. He said the exception to that is, I almost said Paul Rogers, Paul Allen from Microsoft and Cream. He also says he likes Bruno Mars.
Everybody likes Bruno Mars. He's going to be the new king.
Kendrick Lamar. He had a lot of negative things to say about Michael Jackson.
Really?
That Michael Jackson stole all of his songs. He said,
Stole Quincy Jones' songs?
Don't you
No.
think you'd lock the door after the first 20?
But I mean, it's sort of funny to think that he's okay with Bruno Mars, who is clearly stealing funk. He's stealing a lot of other people's sound. But Quincy Jones says it's about musical interpretation.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call it stealing. I wouldn't call it stealing till it ends up in court. Like I'd have said, Robin Thicke steals.
And also, I think it's just what Quincy Jones likes personally.
And
is
what is he,
like.
85 now? He doesn't like anything anymore. He's getting
Right.
ready for death and saying weird stuff.
He said that he hated State of Independence and Billie Jean.
I don't even know what State of Independence is.
I don't either. But another little tidbit
But
is...
Billie Jean, she's not my lover.
I thought it was Mother.
No, I'm pretty sure it's lover. I don't know for sure.
No, it's lover.
All right.
He calls Harvey Weinstein a jive mother father and a bully. And he also talked about Marlon Brando, who he says was a charming mother father, and that he would beep anything. He would beep a mailbox. And
I'd beep a mailbox, but
Really?
the mailbox is, when I say mailbox, if you think of the one that's on a post outside your house, my mailbox is going to be a little upset at my lack of attention to most of it, if you know what I'm saying.
He went on to say that he did beep Richard Pryor.
That Marlon Brando did.
Yes. And
Well, did Richard Pryor call back?
he said he'd beep a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. He did not give a beep.
So Marvin was gay.
Richard Pryor's widow has now spoken out and said, yes.
What? Yes.
She said the allegations are true. He was always very open about his bisexuality. He documented it in extensive diaries. She says she will publish them later this year. And they said, well, what about specifically Richard Pryor hooking up with Marlon Brando? She said it was the 70s. The drugs were still good, especially Quaaludes. And if you did enough cocaine, you'd beep a radiator and send it flowers in the morning. She said she has no doubt that Richard Pryor would be cracking
I'm going to
up.
send my radiators from flowers just saying you keep me warm at night.
So she said she has no doubt that Richard Pryor would be cracking up if she heard Quincy Jones spilling the beans.
But she says that Marlon Brando was open about his bisexuality in his
I thought
private...
you said Richard Pryor was open about
Or
it.
Richard Pryor,
Richard Pryor.
in his secret diaries that are unpublished.
Well,
He was very open about it in his secret diaries.
She says that he documented it.
Yeah.
Very open about his bisexuality, but documented as in who, what, where, and how.
Wow, how have we never heard it before?
I know how.
Well, maybe not. A radiator is involved.
That's true. Wow, that's just wild. By the way, is the word allegation appropriate? Does it mean the same thing? Like, I think of it as I'm going to sue Paul because I've got these allegations, or you're going to go to jail because he did the allegations. Nothing that bad is being said. Is it still an allegation? Just one guy says something, somebody says another?
Yeah, he is alleging
Right.
that
Of course.
Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor had adult relations.
Wild. Very
And
interesting.
she says, heck yeah.
Can you imagine being the last person to have sex with Richard Pryor before he went up in flames? I would totally say, I did that. That's how that went. Don't ask me if I'm good.
Paul Stanley has given an interview to Billboard talking about the future of Kiss. He said that right now he is really into doing artwork, that he has some pieces in galleries. He likes to go to the galleries and talk with people. That's one of his favorite things, is to talk to people about art.
Mm-hmm.
And they said he's not necessarily ready to hang up his rock and roll shoes, but he can certainly envision a day when Kiss can carry on without him.
Right.
He said the thought of me not being involved does come to mind.
It's such a great voice, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's the voice of Kiss. No two ways about it.
He said,
Give me a guy with a long tongue and a bass guitar and we'll replace what's-his-face right now.
He said there was a time when people said it had to be four of us. Me, Gene, Ace Frehley, Peter, Chris. And those people are already 50% wrong. So I'm guessing another absence could be overcome too.
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at that because I'll be bummed, actually, when it happens. But Gene Simmons, and I think Paul Stanley was on board with this, that the band continues without either of them.
That's I guess what he's saying he sees.
No, yeah, but there's no original members in it at all. They're all in the makeup, and the
It's
Kiss
all
vibe
replacements.
continues.
Yeah.
I'd see it, but I'm not sure. You know, it's like seeing an Elvis impersonator. It's just not the real thing.
And some of us have only known an Elvis impersonator.
that
Not all
right?
of us were so lucky to be around in the early 70s to hang out with him at the White House or wherever you were hanging out.
He filmed a movie
They
with him.
paid me money to be around Elvis because I'm that good.
Tonight at 8 on Q13 Fox, it is the season finale of The Four Battle for Stardom.
Challenge!
We've been following the action all season, and now we'll find out who has what it takes to win it all. They'll work with a superstar team to create their first album and become an iHeartRadio On the Verge artist. Who will it be? You will have to catch the 2-hour season finale tonight at 8 on Q13 Fox.
All right, cool.
The James Comey book called Higher Loyalty was supposed to be coming out May 1st. And their publisher this morning announced they are moving up the release date to April 17th. There is a lot of demand to find out what's in this book. What does he have to say? And the date now will be April 17th.
Because I can't imagine that, a lot of these guys come into office and or position of power with a great deal of money. They've been groomed to this. Like, I think a third of the senators have over $30 million or something crazy like that. But I don't know if he came from money, this might be a big payday for him because there's going to be a lot of money either way. It's got to be $1 million or something just to do it. And I imagine he can use the money, but I would think there's so much litigation.
Well, and I think you try to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt, like that Fire and Fury book, but you want to read it anyway.
Well, the Fire and Fury book, I found to be almost all fiction, just with real people's names. The opposite of most things. We had to change some names to make it real. What they did is wrote whatever they want. Then, all right, I'm going to say that the president did this one and Comey did that one.
Let's take a look at sports.
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 Is that Dudley Do Right?
Yeah, okay.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUIOA, 1-800-DUIOA. Yesterday, a lot of people freaked out hearing the news that Russell Wilson had been traded.
A lot of people got freaked out when it was around 7 this morning when you first said it. Oh, Russell Wilson's been traded. We'll be right back.
Those were the headlines.
Those
Russell
were the-
Wilson
right.
traded.
Yeah, and I tried to be very clear while talking about this, and I did prank Paul a little bit, but by saying, don't worry, not from the Seahawks or in
Right.
baseball news. But a lot of people didn't pose it that way. Russell Wilson's been traded,
Yeah.
and people
Yeah.
freaked out. Well, it wasn't from the Seahawks. It was from the Texas Rangers. The baseball team has traded him to the New York Yankees, and yes, he will be going to spring training, but no, he will not be playing baseball.
Is that the real New York Yankees?
Yeah,
real
the
New
real
York
life.
Oh, it's not a
Yankees.
junior team. It's not a double-A team. It's
No.
not their farm team. He
The
got
real
traded to
New
the
York
actual
Yankees.
Yankees. Unbelievable.
He's in the farm system, but it's the Yankees.
And they invited him to their big league spring
Yes.
training.
Yep.
Wow.
After spring training, he'll be assigned to Double-A Trenton roster, and if he did decide he wanted to go play, he could. He'd be in Double-A ball,
Right.
But he could honestly go play baseball if he wanted to,
Well, I can go play baseball if I want to. I just choose not to.
Yeah.
and not for the New York Yankees.
But no, isn't this the? But do they have another name, or are they the New York Yankees as well?
He has been signed to the New York Yankees, and then it's up to the team to decide where to
Okay.
put him. And
Good
it's-
on him. He's a talented little guy there.
And it's a nice gesture by putting him in Double-A ball instead of Single-A ball, like Tim Tebow.
Tebow.
I totally don't know the difference. I know the difference between Tebow and Russell Wilson.
The fewer A's, the worse position.
Is that
they're
it?
in,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought differently.
So Triple A is right before the major leagues.
Double A means they don't serve booze. Is what I understand.
Yeah.
That means you don't have to wear a bra.
And then A ball is it's so low that they only have A ball.
And
They don't
then-
have any extra equipment.
And then
So
I'll play.
if you hit that ball out of the park, you have to end the game.
I'm in. And then 8-ball is the same game, just played faster.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds might never make it to the Hall of Fame because of his link to performance-enhancing drugs, but that won't stop the San Francisco Giants from honoring him as a franchise icon. They announced that they will be retiring his jersey during a ceremony on August 11th. Number 25 headed to the rafters.
I think it's the right thing to do.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
That's it. We're all three in this room. We all agree he should be in all the
I don't
accolades.
even. Oh, I don't even mind putting him in the Hall of Fame, but
Me either.
certainly the Giants should be
Retires.
celebrating him.
Yeah, retire his jersey. Have at it. He did break a lot of records. Hall of Fame? Hell no.
No, you're no.
You're all for performance-enhancing
You know
drugs.
what? I'm all for more home runs than the other guy. I don't
Right.
care how you got him. I mean, if you shot the ball out of some kind of gun, I think that's cheating. But if you swung a bat at a ball thrown at you at 90 miles an hour and you hit it out of the park more than the other guy, I don't care how you got there. I think you deserve what you get.
Tonight, the UW Huskies are in Eugene to take on the Ducks. Tip-off is at 7. And also tonight, the Cougs facing the Oregon State Beavers. Tip-off is 7:30.
Tip-off.
Beaver.
There is a report out that Rob Gronkowski might be thinking of hanging up his cleats. It's not official. It's just that they say he is mulling his career. And now there is word that The Rock and Sylvester Stallone have reached out to try his hand at the movie business.
No way, really?
They said he could make millions in action films.
He could. He'd be great.
What
He's gigantic.
Yeah.
He's goofy looking.
Yeah, you put a bunch of that black grease on his face, like that
Don't
you
put
wear
too
under
much
your
of that. People get mad.
eyes. He can look tough.
Let's make it dark green.
But no, I do not see it. I don't see it. And I like him.
He's good in those Tide commercials.
Great. He's absolutely great.
He's funny.
And he's great when he was doing like he was going to pretend to be a stand-up comic for a while. That
Yep.
was great. But I don't know. But remember the movie, what's it, the 1217 to Paris or whatever it is,
Yeah.
where those three guys that saved everybody on the train and got shot and they're full-blown heroes, they play themselves. I said terrible call on that one, and I could be proven wrong.
I think that's coming out this weekend. Of course, we'll have a look at what's in theaters tomorrow. Once
I'll go see
the
it just to
reviews
see how
are
they
in.
do.
Yeah.
Early speculation is it's not great, but that doesn't mean it's their fault. It could just be not a great movie.
It's not, well, Clint makes them.
Could it be
does
Clint
everything.
Eastwood's
It might be Clint.
fault? Yeah.
Might be
Remember
his
when he
fault.
made that movie about interviewing a chair? It didn't go that well for him.
The Olympics got underway with the big event everybody was anticipating, the mixed
Mixed doubles curling?
Yeah. Come on, pits in. Luckily, Amy got on DVR.
Oh, good. Yes. And the opening ceremonies are actually tomorrow, right?
Yes, tomorrow morning at like 3 a.m.
3
our time.
a.m. Although the Olympics started today, the opening ceremony is
It's
tomorrow.
all weird.
Yeah.
It's all super weird. North Koreans are playing with South Koreans. It's all just craziness.
Yeah.
Hey, if you haven't purchased your tickets yet for Whiskey Rocks Northwest, now is the time to do so. This is an amazing event. We will all be attending. Everybody from the radio station will be there. And a whole lot of whiskey and bourbon will be there. Bourbons and whiskeys from around the world. You get to taste them. You get to hear live music. You get to eat and drink.
And there's an actual bar there as well, right?
Yes.
So if you wanted to, you could get a beer.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
then you could have
Yeah.
one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer.
Sure.
Nice.
But we don't want you to drink alone. We want you to join us. The Terrace Club at Safeco Field. It's March 10th. Last year's event sold out, so don't wait. Get your tickets now by going to whiskeyrocksnw.com. That was sports, believe it or not, and it was brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUIOA. I include that in sports because it's at Safeco Field.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, if you've never been to Safeco Field, first of all, if you've never been to Safeco Field, you need to go for sure. But there's something really quite special when you own the place. What's the name of the deck we're on?
The Terrace Club.
The Terrace Club.
Yeah.
And you just walk around, you go sit down, you walk right to the field. It's
It's
a
right there.
really neat feeling. So
It
I
is.
hope that you come out to this. I'm assuming my friend Steve Slayton is going to
He
be
will.
there. He's going to walk in this room any second now, and he's going to play you some classic rock. 'Cause he's just that kind of guy. We will get out of his way. So bye. Bye. Bye.
This traffic report is brought to you by Taco Bell on I-5 northbound between the Boeing Access Road and Union Street. Looking at about a 20-minute delay due to some stop-and-go traffic. And over on 520 westbound, also seeing some heavy traffic as well between the Evergreen Point Floating Bridge and the interchange to I-5. Have you seen the trailer for Web of Fries? You need to. While the movie is shrouded in mystery, Taco Bell's new $1 nacho fries, covered in Mexican spices and dipped in warm nacho cheese sauce, are very real and delicious. I'm Derek, and that's your look at traffic on 102.5 KZOK.